Welcome to the final World Cup Fantasy Deadline stream. We're looking ahead to the third place playoff, which is going to take place at 3 p.m. UK time today, so in about 2 hours time, and we should get the lineups in around half an hour. And of course we have the World Cup final tomorrow, but the official Matchday 7 deadline is today, and that's why we're doing the deadline stream here and instead of the Sunday. But welcome to everyone, it's good to see you, and thank you very much for all your support throughout the entire World Cup. We've been doing videos and streams even before the World Cup actually started, so it's been a long journey. I mean, this last month or so has just gone by so quickly, and in about 10 days time we're going to be back with FPL as well, and the Premier League will kick off once again, I think in Boxing Day, so that should be interesting as well. I'm going to be doing some videos and streams hopefully in the next few days, but there could be a little bit of a break after the World Cup. Obviously I'll keep you guys updated, but good to see so many of you here once again, and let's just get straight into your questions. I'll be showing you my transfer plans very shortly, and I'll be confirming the Croatian-Moroccan players that I'm going to be transferring in once we see the lineups. Obviously, it doesn't make any sense to confirm any when we just have to wait another half an hour. So let's go to your questions. Thank you very much to everyone, and let me just bring this up here. So welcome S. Kelly, good to see you once again, and same, thank you very much for tuning in. Welcome Testimony, and also Ibrahim, thank you very much. I forgot we could add Morocco and Croatia players, so I almost made a full Argentina and France squad. Yeah, we've been talking about this in the last few videos because some people were a bit confused. At one point in the Matchday 7 deadline, it said Sunday 18th of December, which is obviously the World Cup final, but they actually changed it just before the Matchday 6 deadline, so that kind of cleared any doubts we had. So this was actually in the last deadline stream, so I was trying to make a point of it to get these Moroccan and Croatian players, and it doesn't really matter if they're eliminated because you still have the third place playoff, and that could be more high scoring, and it generally is compared to the World Cup final. Who to captain? I talked about this in my team selection video, so I have the power captain active right now. If I didn't, I probably would go for Perisic in this game between Morocco and Croatia, and then my second captain would be Lionel Messi. But to be honest, it just depends, because you might favour Morocco or France, and if that's the case, you could maybe go for a Hakimi or a Mbappe, for example. But I would go for Perisic and Messi personally. Yeah, I think that's good. That's completely fine. Like I said, I'd personally go for Messi, but to be honest, Mbappe is also a really good choice. I mean, he's got 5 goals and 2 assists in this competition, and he also got 2 fantasy assists against Morocco. Welcome, Hamid. Good to see you as well, and Zach as well. Pleasure as always, and Calio. And yes, let's go. We've got like 1 hour. Can I even count? Yeah, 1 hour 58 minutes until the game officially kicks off, the third place playoff. Giroud or Alvarez? It's a really close one. I would slightly lean towards Alvarez, but either one of them could pop up with a goal. It could even be both, to be honest. It's going to be a really interesting game, very tough to call. But Alvarez has been just growing into this tournament, and he got a goal against Australia in the round of 16. He got a brace against Croatia, and I think he's just on form at the moment. So maybe I would lean towards him, but honestly, you can make a case for either one. And I've got Giroud at the moment, so I might not get rid of him, but if I have a spare free transfer, which I probably will, I might end up doing Giroud to Alvarez, but that's always risky. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Hey Dylan, will Di Maria start? Nothing's confirmed yet, but Argentina are basically, it's between 2 players to start. Angel Di Maria and Lisandro Martinez. If Lisandro starts, it will be a back 3, so 3-5-2 like we saw against the Netherlands. Otherwise, if Di Maria starts, it will be a kind of 4-4-2/4-3-3, and Di Maria would start instead of Paredes, and he would start alongside Messi and Alvarez in the front 3. So very interesting stuff, and obviously I've talked about this a lot in recent videos, but Di Maria is the man for the big occasion. He scored in the Olympic gold final against Nigeria. A chip, obviously, is his kind of trademark. He also scored against Brazil in the Maracanã, and also Italy in Wembley, so he definitely can pop up in these games, and if he's fully fit, which it seems like he is, he's got a good chance of starting. But it's between him and Lisandro Martinez. We might get more information later today actually, and probably when the stream ends around 3 p.m. UK time. I think Argentina will start training, and that's when we'll have more information. I hope we don't get the information. I would like France to not be in the know-how and to be in the dark, but let's wait and see. Best differentials to make up ground. I'm 17 points behind my mini league leader. that's the thing. It's really difficult to find differentials in this case, but you can maybe think outside the box with players like Owani from Morocco. You could also look from someone from Croatia like Petkovic or Kramaric, whoever starts. I think that's the kind of differential you really want to go for. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Alvarez has lower ownership than Giroud, so something like that could still also pay dividends. So that's the kind of punt I would take. Maybe Petkovic, Kramaric, Owani, and also Alvarez potentially instead of Giroud, something like that. And Di Maria is around 20% ownership, but if he does start, I don't think that many people will be active in the game, and you could actually gain some rank by going for Di Maria. So those are the sorts of options I would recommend. But to be honest, apart from that, what else could count as a differential? Maybe tripling or quadrupling on a certain defense. So if you think Argentina or Croatia will keep a clean sheet, maybe stack up on these players. It's going to be risky, but that's also how you're going to make up rank on those that are going to be above you. Thoughts on captaining Hakimi, Ziyech, then Messi? I don't mind that. If you back Morocco to win, then that's the kind of two players I would go for from Morocco. So I have no problems with that. And as for Messi, I think he's the best captaincy option tomorrow alongside Mbappe. It just really depends on what kind of side of the coin you are going towards. But I think that's a good set of captaincy options. Which France players are at risk not to start? I'll be honest, I don't believe any of it. So there are like 5 or 6 players that didn't train yesterday. That includes Varane due to illness, Konate and Coman. They all have like a virus that's spreading around, and that also caused Rabiot and Upamecano not to start against Morocco. But I think those 2 players in particular are feeling better. The other 2 players that had injury problems yesterday were Tchouaméni and also Theo Hernandez, I think with a hip problem and also a knee issue. But honestly, they are going to be completely fine. They're going to start this game. Really, it's actually, oddly enough, the ill players that are maybe more at risk of not starting, but I think they'll be fine. They'll probably train today, and even if they're not training outside, they probably will be doing indoor training. So I wouldn't kind of look too much into it. I think it could be mind games from France. Can you change your power captain? The power captain changes automatically, mate. So once you activate it, you don't have to do anything with the captaincy. It literally just changes to your highest scoring player in your starting 11. So there's not much more to it. Welcome, Gabriel. Good to see you. McAllister or Enzo says ZX Trenix. I think that's how it is. Like I've been saying in the last few weeks, I do prefer Enzo, but I'm not too sure if Paredes starts, and if that's the case, I think Enzo will be the deep-lying midfielder, the CDM, and that means McAllister will be the more offensive of the 2. And in the last game, it was Enzo getting the tackle points. I think he made 4 tackles against Croatia, but McAllister got the key passes point, and I think he was the one that also got very close to scoring. He had a really good header denied by Livakovic to make it 3-0. So maybe at this point I'd say McAllister. It's really close between the 2. If Paredes starts, I'd go for Enzo because of the role and how it changes. But if Paredes doesn't start, and I don't think he will, then I would go for McAllister. Livakovic or Bono? At the moment, I'm leaning towards Livakovic, but I want to see the lineups in 23 minutes' time, really. Player with the most points is the captain. Exactly that. Acuna or Molina? They're both expected to start. I'd maybe lean more towards Molina, but at the same time, Molina will be playing down Mbappe's side, and he might have more defensive duties than he normally does. And Argentina could play a back 5, so it will be interesting to see how Scaloni sets up. But normally, I would say Molina. At this stage, though, Acuna could be the more offensive of the 2. Dembele, when you look at the 2 France wingers, Dembele is the one that's tracking back and helping Koundé a lot. When you look at the left-hand side, Mbappe and Theo Hernandez, that's where Argentina could maybe exploit that space a little bit more. I think they're a bit more vulnerable defensively on that side, so maybe Molina will be allowed to push up in a back 3. Then you have the likes of Romero and De Paul covering that right-hand side. So really close, but at the moment, I would favour Molina. Is 270 points good? I'm not too sure what rank that is, to be honest, but it's a low-scoring fantasy game. I don't think it's bad at all. And, you know, you look at the point system in this game. Normally, you get 2 points for a player, you know, playing 60 minutes or more. In this, you only get 1. So it's really difficult to score the points. I think 270 is fine. I actually made a slight mistake yesterday in the team selection. I put 450 points in my team selection video. That would mean I'm like 3rd in the world or something, which I clearly am not. But there's not much kind of differences, I think, in ranks. But at the same time, a lot of us that are still active in the game will have a very similar build, and we've only got 4 teams to choose from. Highly doubt Di Maria will play against France. Yeah, look, when I'm looking at it, You know, he's got a great record in finals. He's really important for Argentina, but there is a chance he's not going to start. You know, the last time he started was against Poland. It's been a long time. He's been injured. He came off the bench against Netherlands and he did really well. What Argentina might do is play a back three first and then bring on Di Maria. That's what they tried in training yesterday. Or it could be the other way around. Argentina will try to be a bit more offensive from the beginning, get that goal lead, and then sit back and defend a little bit and put Lisandro Martinez in for Di Maria. So that isn't actually confirmed yet. I think it's maybe 50-50, you could say, between him and Lisandro Martinez to start. Who do you expect will get a clean sheet? Honestly, I'm looking at the Croatia-Morocco defences more so than not. I think they're the most likely to keep a clean sheet. I think Argentina and France will score, but you never know what can happen in the final, and typically the finals are more low-scoring than the third-place playoff, but on paper, I'd say Croatia and Morocco have the best chance of a clean sheet, so it just depends which team you back a little bit more. At the moment, I'm backing Croatia a little bit, but at the same time, they have some injury problems, and Morocco will probably go with their strongest lineup. If we save our transfers now, can we use it tomorrow? Yes, the same goes for last week as well. Just make sure that if you are going to get in some players tomorrow, you know, Argentine and French players, make sure the players you're transferring out aren't Croatian or Moroccan. Otherwise, they'll be locked, and then there's no point. You know, you're not going to be able to get these Argentine or French players in the first place. Dylan will have to take a punt on Di Maria, Enzo Fernandez, McAllister, Molina before deadline. That looks fine to me. If Di Maria starts, he'll be my favourite midfielder. I've always said this. And as for Molina, I do like him as well. And if you're backing Argentina, maybe you could go for a double or triple up defensively. But I have to say France are just too good defensively. And it's difficult to see a clean sheet in that game. But you just never know in football. 12th man, Griezmann or Alvarez? I prefer Alvarez as a fantasy option, but Griezmann, you know, I've said this before, he's probably been the most impressive French player in this tournament, and in terms of fantasy, you know, options, I think Alvarez is more likely to score on paper, but you can never rule out Griezmann, and, you know, he's the one I'm really looking at tomorrow alongside Mbappe. He is the danger man, pulling the strings, and he hasn't scored in this tournament so far. It could be in the final. He's a really good player, but I would go for Alvarez personally. I captain Ziyech. Is he a good option? As a first captaincy option, I think he's decent. You know, he's only got 1 goal and 1 assist in this tournament, but at the same time, if you want a Moroccan attacker, he's probably the one to go for. Enzo Fernandez or McAllister, like I said before, it depends on the lineup. So if Paredes starts and Enzo Fernandez is playing more advanced, I would go for Enzo Fernandez. Otherwise, I would just go for McAllister. So the way I think Argentina will line up, I'd probably favour McAllister right now, but they're both very evenly matched and will probably score a similar amount of points in the final. 1K finish, good luck. Hopefully you can achieve that. That's a good thing there. Yeah, I think Rabiot will start. He's already in training yesterday and he's feeling better from his illness. He might not be 100%, but I think he will start. Which key players from Morocco and Croatia to be added in fantasy? We discussed this in the team selection video and best wildcard team. So from Morocco, I would look at Bono, Hakimi, and Ziyech. They are the top 3 for me. And from Croatia, normally be Juranovic, but I'm not sure if he starts. So, you know, if you don't go for Bono, maybe go for Livakovic instead. And then from the defence, you can go for Borna Sosa, who hasn't had too many minutes recently. At least against Brazil, he didn't, or was it against Argentina, I think he didn't get as many minutes as we actually thought. And other players would include Perisic and Modric, of course, as I discussed. If you're looking for a differential, maybe consider a striker from that game. So En-Nesyri, Petkovic, or Kramaric. So it just depends on what you're looking to achieve. Honestly, it's really difficult to tell. At the moment, I'm slightly leaning towards Croatia, but it could go either way. And that's probably the most difficult game to call in this tournament. Yeah, the Messi missing training is not really, it has nothing to it. This was already clarified by, you know, pages that cover Argentina. So every single player that featured against Croatia, they had basically a day off. They were doing some recovery training, gym work and stuff like that, including Messi. So that was just for headlines saying that Messi's missing training. All of the players that started in that game didn't train. They trained yesterday, by the way, Messi and all the others. So they're completely fine. As for French players being ill, yes, there is a virus going around, but I think it's being blown out of proportion by French media. And I think it's just a bit of mind games, really. I think they'll all be fine. There might be 1 or 2 players that might miss out, but generally, I think most of them will be available. I think so, but don't... This is the problem, though, with Di Maria as your 12th man. You have to do it now before the deadline, which is at 3 p.m. UK time, but we don't know if Di Maria will start until tomorrow, and it's honestly 50-50. Typically, Di Maria starts in the finals and in the big games, but France is also a different opposition to Italy and Brazil, so you just don't know, really. Welcome, Yago. If you had to bet on 1 differential, who would it be, please? It seems that we all have the same team. Yeah, that is true, and I do agree with you there. If I had to bet on 1 differential, I'm not sure I'll bet, but If I had to pick one, I have a good feeling about Kramaric if he starts. That's just the kind of gut feeling. I don't expect them to score 2 or 3. I think Morocco are a really good defence, but they might be a bit more adventurous like they were against France, a bit more open. They've got nothing to lose really, and they might just go for the third place. I think Kramaric could be one, but honestly, it's just a really risky one. And when you've got Giroud, Alvarez, Messi, and Mbappe, it's difficult to make a case to go for a Croatia forward when Kramaric has only scored against Canada, really, in this World Cup. But that's probably the one. Hopefully, Raul, hopefully Argentina score a few goals and I can celebrate them. But yeah, let's wait and see. It will be very difficult. Can I activate my power captain before making my transfers? Yes, you can activate the power captain whenever, basically whenever before the deadline. Don't activate the power captain after the 3 p.m. game today. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to, basically. So that's all you have to think about. You can make your transfers first, then play the power captain or vice versa. But just make sure you do it before the Matchday 7 deadline. I'd add Mbappe, Messi, Giroud or Alvarez. Yeah, I think those are the 4 best forwards for me. It just depends, which side you're leaning towards. If you favour Argentina, I'd go for Alvarez. What are the best defenders to go for? I covered this in the best wildcard team video and the team selection. So for me, I would go for Hakimi, a Croatian defender like Juranovic, but I don't believe he'll be fit. We're going to find out very soon. If not, you can just go for Borna Sosa or Gavardiol. I would go for Molina and Theo Hernandez. So I'd definitely go for those. And then maybe you can add another defender from a team you would expect a clean sheet from. So maybe if you think Croatia will, maybe go for another defender that I mentioned already. So that's how I would go about it. Di Maria starting, like I said, it's not completely confirmed. He has a chance, but it could also be Lisandro Martinez. I don't see both of them starting in the same team. Yes, you can make transfers tomorrow as long as the players you're bringing out aren't Croatian or Moroccan players that have already played on the Saturday. Otherwise, they'll be locked. You won't be able to bring in these Argentine or French players that you desire. Yeah, I think that's completely fine. And that's pretty much along the lines of what I was recommending in terms of a back 5. In terms of the final defender, I'd go for a Croatian one, to be honest. But if you're not backing Croatia, maybe go for another Moroccan. Gerd starting, I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure. He wasn't fit enough to start against France. Maybe he will be now, but honestly, I have no idea. We will just find out in like 15 minutes' time. Will be allowed to make transfers? Yes, you can. You can. But like I keep on saying, all you have to be aware of is that the players you bring out, make sure they're not Moroccan or Croatian players. Otherwise, the transfers are futile. You won't be able to bring in the players you want for the final. Taremi or Haaland? Is this a Champions League question? Yeah, well, we'll talk more about Champions League in like 2 or 3 months, but Haaland for me. Boufal could be a decent choice. He's on penalties, yes. And I'll be honest, Boufal's the most impressive for me from the Moroccan wingers and midfielders from a fantasy perspective. When I say that, I mean from the eye. He never really scores or assists, but if he's on penalties, obviously that's a really big advantage. I thought it would have been En-Nesyri kind of challenging for that, but yeah, I think he's good. Actually, Molina has been starting in the Argentina kind of back 5s and back 4s that they've been testing out, and Molina has been the go-to right back for this tournament. I already discussed this. Montiel has typically been, well, I say typically, there's been 2 finals Argentina have played in the last year. Montiel started against Brazil and Molina started against Italy. I think this game might be a bit more similar to the Brazil one, very cagey, you could say, and maybe Montiel will be put in, but based on the trainings we've seen so far, I think Molina will start. Let's wait and see, though. Start with Di Maria, transfer to Enzo if he doesn't start. Yeah, I think that's completely fine, or you can go for McAllister. Which team can we stack up on defenders? Any. It just depends on what you think is going to happen in the game, but I have a good feeling about a Croatia or Moroccan clean sheet. I'm not sure exactly which side, but I think there will be a clean sheet in that game potentially, if there is to be one in this match day. Griezmann or Giroud better? I think Giroud, but Griezmann for me is the real main man. He's the one pulling the strings, but from a fantasy perspective, I would say Giroud. Boufal or Ouani? Well, if Boufal is on penalties, I would go to him, but Ouani has been maybe a bit more dangerous from an offensive perspective in terms of goals and assists, I'd say. Like I said with Kramaric, I'm not a big fan of him, but if you're looking for a differential, I just have a bit of a feeling of a Croatian goal from the forwards, and Kramaric could be the one. It just depends, though, because if he's playing on the wing, which is possible, and they play Petkovic up front, then he won't be the main man who will get the bulk of the chances. Best Croatian defender, normally it's Juranovic, but because of the injury problem he has, I think I would probably lean towards Borna Sosa, but it depends if he starts or not. There is a chance that Borna Sosa doesn't. Giroud to Alvarez, I am thinking about that, Raul. I am thinking about that. I might just end up keeping Giroud just to hopefully jinx him, as I've done with Richarlison and a few others. But yeah, I think Alvarez, I'd slightly lean more towards him, but it could go either way. The lineup will be out in approximately 12 minutes, so 1:30 UK time. That's when we should get the lineup for the 3 p.m. third place playoff today. I'm going for Kramaric instead of Alvarez or Giroud. That's fine. And that game could be more open, so I do understand that. I'm still wary about Morocco because they've only conceded 3 goals in this tournament, with one of them being an own goal. The deadline is at 3 p.m. UK time, as always. And, just bear this in mind for the next World Cup fantasy game, unless they change it. The deadline is always the first game of the match day. In this case, it will be 3 p.m. today. Enzo, Di Maria, or I'm guessing that's Kunde, or was that Fernandez? I would go for Di Maria if he starts, basically. Why can't you make transfers tomorrow if you have spare transfers? I never said you can't make transfers. My point is, if you get rid of a Moroccan or Croatian player, let's say Modric, for example, on the Sunday for Di Maria, you can't do that because Modric has already played. My point is, you can make transfers tomorrow, but it has to be someone who's already eliminated or isn't involved in the Morocco-Croatia game. Otherwise, they become locked, and then you can't make the transfer. Should I jinx Griezmann? If you can, that'd be great, please. But, obviously, you can just play the game the way you want, get points. If you think Griezmann will, go for it. But, yeah, that'll be appreciated. I will not lie there. Best third place game goalkeeper. I slightly lean towards Livakovic at the moment, and that's simply because of his saves potential. But I'm going to look at the lineups, and if I think Morocco are going a bit stronger, I might just lean towards him, lean towards Bono and go for Moroccans, really. Best defender from Croatia, Morocco. From Morocco, it's Hakimi, and from Croatia, it's probably Borna Sosa at this point. Keep Enzo or risk with Di Maria. You can always just wait for the lineup tomorrow and then make the transfer. So keep Enzo for now. If Di Maria starts, you can then move him on. So that's the way I'd go about it. What do you think of centre-backs for Argentina-France game? Well, I think it'll be Otamendi and Romero starting, and Argentina could play a back three with Lisandro Martinez, so it could be those three. For France, I think it will be Varane and probably Konate, but it depends on the illness because both of them are ill. The same goes for Upamecano, but I think he's slowly getting better. So if Konate is actually... There are reports that he's the worst off from the French defenders. If that's the case, it could be Upamecano coming back in, which might be good or bad news for France because Konate's been very solid for France in the games he's played, like against Tunisia and against Morocco. Otamendi or Molina? I'd go for Molina, but wait for the lineup because there's still the odd chance that Montiel starts. I think it will be Molina, but let's wait and see. Juranovic and Agüerd are set not to start based on predicted lineups. Yeah, that's completely understandable. I haven't seen it from an official source, but apparently Fabrizio Romano tweeted about Juranovic not being available, and Agüerd has been a constant injury doubt, for the last few games, basically. Lloris or Martinez? I would say Martinez, but it's really close. And once again, if you think France are going to have the edge, then just go for Lloris. But I'd probably go for Martinez. It's a really close call, though. Stats show that the third place game more high scoring than the final. Yep. It's completely up to you, Adash. It's really close. The problem with the third place playoff is that it's so difficult to call, I think. Arguably even more difficult than the final. And you just don't know how both teams will approach it because they have the freedom. They have nothing to lose, really. They're just going for a bronze medal. So it's difficult to call. But, yep, that could be the way forward. I don't mind going heavy on Croatia and Morocco. But at the same time, when you look at their assets, especially in the midfield, apart from Perisic, you could say, most of them aren't that reliable in terms of goals and assists. And the goals could be spread. Giroud ain't the best. Hope you're right. I hope you're right. And he blanks. That'd be great, even if I have him. Hey, Dylan, good luck for the final match day. Thank you, Diogo. Good luck to you as well. How to check 12th player correctly set. If you talk about the 12th man, basically once you confirm it, it will then just, where you see on the top left on my screen where it says Power Captain, you will then see the player's image and you will see the Power Captain that you have. So if you see that, that means your 12th man is already set. You cannot change it once you've confirmed it, and you can't substitute them out or captain them, as we've discussed in previous videos and streams as well. Best formation, 4-3-3 or 3-4-3. I don't think it'll be a lot of clean sheets, then go for a 3-4-3. I'm also kind of a bit conflicted about which team will keep a clean sheet because honestly it could be any single one of them. But yeah, I think sorry, that makes no sense what I just said. Wait, no, does it? No, yeah, it does, because 3 defenders, yeah. I'd probably say a 3-4-3 is the best formation in this match day, but at the same time, it's always difficult to call in these third place playoffs and also the finals, you just never know what can happen. And I think both of these games are very evenly matched, but I'd say 3-4-3, especially if you're of that opinion. Who's on penalties for France? I hope we don't find out tomorrow, but it will have to be between Griezmann, Mbappe and Giroud, and Griezmann was the penalty taker last in the last World Cup. I'm guessing it's still him. I think French fans will give you a better answer than me, but that will be my guess. Like I said, I hope we don't see it tomorrow. Is Perisic a decent captaincy choice? Yeah, I think so. If I didn't play the power captain, he probably would be my third place playoff captain. So I think that's fine. What do you think about getting in 8 Argentina players? I think that's a bit too much. I mean, as much as I am back in Argentina and I hope they win it, it's still a really close final. And to go for 8 Argentina players, I mean, if you're completely convinced of Argentina going, getting the win, then go for it. But at the same time, you can still get some French players who gets points, even Moroccan or Croatians. And even if Argentina win, it doesn't mean all those 8 players you bring in are going to get points themselves necessarily, especially if you get midfielders and they don't get goals or assists. So I'd probably limit it a little bit more, maybe 5 or 6 at the maximum. I don't think I'd go for 8 of any team, but that's just the way I would go about it. At the same time, if you kind of go all in on a certain team, that is your way of being different from the rest, but not for me. For today, Perisic, Modric, Juranovic, Hakimi and Ziyech, is it enough? Yes, but bear in mind, Juranovic is an injured out, and he might not even start. We're going to find out in like 5 minutes, but apparently he won't start. We already covered this, Chad. So the 12th man is very simple. You click on that flashing yellow icon where you have all the boosters, you apply the 12th man, you select the player. Once you confirm it, you cannot captain, transfer out, or substitute this player. So whatever points he scores, that will be added to your points total for the match day. It's very simple, and there's no budget restrictions involved, so you can get anyone you wish, to be honest. But yeah, very simple stuff. Modric or Rabiot? I would say Modric, but Rabiot should be available for the final, and he is also very important to how France play. And he obviously showed his quality in match day 1, but I probably would go for Modric. He's also on penalties. Croatia goalkeeper, Morocco. I'm leaning towards Croatian goalkeeper right now, but I'm going to reevaluate in 5 minutes' time. The worst thing about the World Cup is the refs. Yeah, I agree. There's so many games. For me, the worst ref by a distance was the Spanish ref in the Argentina-Netherlands game. He was absolutely abysmal. But there's been so many poor performances. And oddly enough, I think one of the last games I've seen with a good refereeing performance was the Argentine referee in the Portugal-Morocco game, which I'm sure Portuguese people would disagree with me there, but in my opinion, he did a decent job. Molina to pocket Mbappe? I hope so, but it's a really difficult ask. And even if you do that, you've got Griezmann, you've got Dembele and Giroud, not to mention Tchouaméni and all these other players. Why have you taken Giroud over Alvarez? This was something I had before match day 6. And there's a few reasons to it, and I'll be completely honest with you. One of the reasons is to jinx, hopefully, as I've done with some other strikers, and also because Giroud is actually just generally a really good striker for France. He's the all-time record goal scorer, and Alvarez, before the Croatia game, he had 2 goals in this World Cup, which is good, but Giroud was still leading in that metric anyway, so it's very easy to kind of talk about it afterwards, but I have to say Alvarez is in great form, but you can't rule out Giroud. I'm 17 points away from first place in my mini league. Ooh, 150 euros on the line. Good luck, mate. Any tips on differentials? Like I said, I'd probably stack up on certain teams, maybe in terms of a defense. If you think Croatia will keep a clean sheet, go for the goalkeeper and maybe 3 defenders, something like that can give you the edge. And also the captaincy. So tomorrow you can go for a Messi or Mbappe, that's completely fine, but you could also consider Alvarez, Di Maria or Giroud, something like that. And also from today's games, the captaincy could be crucial. Maybe you can bring in someone like Kramaric and captain them, take a punt like that. But in terms of differentials, it would be very difficult to make yourself very different from the rest, and you also don't want to be different for the sake of it, because you can also miss out because of being different. You also want to get players that you think will score points. So I think it's about stacking up on certain teams, whether it's offensively or defensively, and it depends on what you predict in these games, and honestly, so much can happen. Yeah, 17 points is a lot, but it's also not insurmountable. I think it's definitely doable. Obviously, it's difficult. There's no denying that, but it's still possible. What transfers are on your mind? We're going to talk about this very soon, but there's not much point talking about the transfers now, because I'll probably change my opinion in about 3 minutes' time. Giroud or Alvarez? I prefer Alvarez, but it's really close, like I said before. I need some differentials in my team. Yeah, just like I said earlier, the kind of same kind of answer I would give there. You can maybe go about it a bit differently with Kramaric or Petkovic or En-Nesyri, depending on what you think is going to happen in that game, or stack up on certain teams. Yeah, it looks like Juranovic is injured, yes. We can transfer out Croatian Moroccan players tomorrow, right? Well, that's the thing. If you have a Croatian or Moroccan player, they play, you won't be able to transfer them out tomorrow because they're locked in. So I'm pretty sure you're not able to do that if the game is consistent with the rulings throughout the 7 match days, really. Griezmann or Alvarez? Once again, I'd go for Alvarez personally. Isn't the third place playoff game more important in terms of fantasy? There's a higher ceiling. You would expect more goals, more adventurous and bold play compared to the final, where both teams don't want to concede, really. So, yes, generally the third place playoff is the one you really want to target from a fantasy perspective, but at the same time, it's really close between the two teams. I don't like that France team, even their commentators. But the France team is good, there's no denying it, and there's a reason why they reached the final even with all the injuries. But I have to say, the overall play hasn't been that impressive up until this point, but it's still been enough to beat some really good teams, so you can't underestimate them. Hey Dylan, do you want... what? No thanks, but I appreciate the offer. Why Giroud over Alvarez? It's literally covered already. I already had Giroud before Matchday 6, and also it's to do with jinxing, and also because Giroud is just a fabulous player for France. So yeah, I might get rid of Giroud for Alvarez, but I haven't made any transfers yet, and I probably won't make any Argentina or French players, or transfers, should I say, until tomorrow. Yeah, Lovren's not a bad choice. He's actually one of the highest scoring Croatian defenders in this game. He got an assist, I think, against Japan, but yeah, he might be one of the more nailed-on ones compared to Borna Sosa, for example. Yeah, Modric didn't do anything in fantasy. Yeah, that's true, but he's on penalties, and also when you look at the other midfielders, what would you go for? Maybe McAllister, Enzo Fernandez, Rabiot, Tchouameni, but I still think Modric is worth having. Look, I'll be honest, I said this before, Modric isn't a great fantasy option, but you can never rule him out, and he's still capable of a great long-distance strike or a penalty, and he can also get the key passes point and create chances and get the assists, but it hasn't happened for him in this tournament from that perspective. Best differential captain for today, I'd probably look towards someone like Petkovic or Kramaric, depending on who starts. And my gut feeling is Kramaric, but let's see if he even starts now. Can you make subs in the middle of the match day, like seeing if Di Maria starts? Yes, you can. You can make transfers and substitutions, but just bear in mind, you can't get rid of a Croatian or Moroccan player who has already played and get in an Argentine or French player. I will be getting them in. Like I said, there's no point in me making Argentine or French transfers now when we get the lineup tomorrow. And if Di Maria starts, I want to get him. So there's no point making transfers now. Yeah, I'm not surprised about that. Giroud always gets a lot of chances, and he's just a complete headache for defenders. First day captain, I'd go for Perisic personally. But if you want to go about it a bit differently, maybe you could consider a striker from either team, really. We don't know yet. I'm going to try cover different questions because we are getting quite a lot of repeats, but yeah, Di Maria, we don't know if he's going to start yet. It's between him and Lisandro Martinez, and depending on what happens, if Lisandro starts, it'll be a back three. If Di Maria does, it'll be a back four. I think Argentina will keep a clean sheet and Croatia, Moroccan game more open. I hope you're completely right there. That'll be amazing, along with Argentina scoring. But yeah, Croatia-Moroccan game being open, that would be great to see. When they played each other in the groups, it was a 0-0, and it would not surprise me if it happened again and it went to penalties. It honestly wouldn't. Yes, I will be making some transfers tomorrow. I think I'll make 3 today and probably 2 or 3 tomorrow. You should have at least 7 from Croatia-Morocco game. Potentially, especially if you want to go about it differently and really be aggressive. But at the same time, I don't have as much confidence in the Croatian-Moroccan assets in terms of midfielders and attackers compared to the Argentines and French players. So thank you, Mario, for putting the lineup. I appreciate it. I'm going to go for it in just a few minutes. Martinez or Lloris? I prefer Martinez, but it's up to you. Thank you, Adastra. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, in terms of 15 playing players, that's what I'm looking to achieve, of course. I've got the transfers to do that. Once again, I'm not going to confirm all my transfers until tomorrow. Best differential midfielders, maybe Uwani, also Boufal, I think could be really good. Yeah, it looks like Juranovic is injured and he's not starting. Thoughts on having half a team from today's game doesn't, bother me at all. I think that could be good, and it's also a nice balance between today and tomorrow. I have no problems with that, and also you have the possibility of subbing out more players and making more substitutions to maximize your points. So I do like that. Yeah, we'll go for the lineups very soon. Kramaric captain for today. If you're looking for a differential, yes. But as I've said before, I think Alvarez, Giroud, Messi, Mbappe are all on paper anyway, better options. But if you want to go different, that could be a way of doing it. Once again, I would go for Martinez, but it's up to you. I can't believe people ask questions like, it's match day 1, example with transfers with locked players. I mean, look, some people are casuals and some people obviously, this game is confusing. So I do understand that, but we have covered quite a lot of this in the stream already. Kramaric or Giroud? I still prefer Giroud, I think, but maybe the Croatia-Morocco game will be more open. You just never know. Di Maria last game and he was saved. Yeah, he was ready for the last game, but it doesn't mean he's going to start. I think he will play. He'll either come off the bench or start, but it's not a guarantee either way. I wouldn't say he's essential, but why not, in my opinion? Unless you really don't think Morocco will keep a clean sheet, why not go for Hakimi, who's got the attacking potential as well? He's been a great right-back in this tournament. Modric captain? I don't think I'd captain him because he's got no goals or assists and you're relying a lot on penalties there. But in terms of having him in my team, yes. But in terms of captaincy, a bit different. Are you planning to keep the dead players on the bench for transfers tomorrow? Yes, exactly. So I will make some transfers today. you know, for the Moroccan and Croatian players I want, but in terms of Argentines and French players, there's no point making transfers now when we get the lineups tomorrow, and we could maybe get a bit of an advantage with someone like Di Maria tomorrow. So let's wait and see. Is Juranovic on the bench, maybe common later, or is he not in the squad at all? We're going to go through that right now, actually. So let's go to live score, which has been very good to us. This is not the possible. No, we don't want that. So they don't have the confirmed lineup so far. I think I'm going to go on the Twitter page of Croatia. So bear with me for a second and I will get the lineup on screen. So let's get this up. I think Croatian national team, their Twitter page should have posted this by now. So Croatia, let's see. Nope, they haven't posted it yet. But Mario did put the lineup in the chat, so we could just go through that for now. I thought they would have posted it by this stage. So Mario says, oh, sorry, Jesus Christ. 1 second break. So Mario says it's Livakovic, Stanisic, Sutalo, Gavardiol, Perisic, Modric, Kovacic, Majer, Kramaric, Orsic, and Livaja. So no Petkovic, and Livaja was someone who was starting in the group stages, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he actually got a goal against Canada. So, yeah, some rotation there for Croatia. Not too surprising. Livakovic is starting, and obviously the big news is Juranovic is missing out. Is he on the bench? I'm not so sure. I think Mario could answer that question, and we will shortly when we get the official lineup. Save power captain for today. Yeah, same here, because I've actually generally got the captaincy right, you know, and it's been on Messi most of the time. But in the final and the third place playoff, it could be someone completely random who gets the most points. So I think the power captain on paper is the best to use now, because even though I would have gone for Perisic and Messi, it could easily have gone, you know, it could have backfired and I would have gotten blanks there from both players. But yeah, power captain I think will solve that issue. I probably would go for Alvarez, but you could take a punt here. If you want to go different, you can maybe take a punt on Orsic or Livaja or even Kramaric, I think. I think either one of those three would be completely fine. But I still think Alvarez is the best one. Keep the outward players on the bench for transfers tomorrow. Yeah, that's what I'm looking to do. Very simple stuff with the power captaincy. We've explained it already. So all you need to know is once you activate the power captain, you don't need to think about the captaincy anymore. And the captain will end up becoming your highest scoring player in your starting 11. So it will change automatically. You don't need to do anything. So very simple stuff. Modric or Perisic? Perisic for me, I think, is a better fantasy option. Although I'm not sure if in this lineup you'll be playing as a left back. I don't think that's the case, but if he is, that will obviously limit him a little bit more. Let's go back to my team and my transfer plans. And has much changed? Well, it looks like Borna Sosa isn't starting, right? So I'm not sure I'm going to go for him. I'd probably go for Gavardiol instead. Just keep it very simple. Or maybe go for the like-for-like replacements in the fullback positions. But yeah, I think I'll be making a change there from my original plan. The other transfers I'm looking to make right now are Hakimi and Livakovic, but that could easily become Bono. So I'm going to look at the Morocco lineup as well and then make my final decisions. Boufal option, yes, especially if you want a differential midfielder. Boufal or Awani? My gut feeling would say Boufal, but I like both players, to be honest. Best assets from tonight's game? For me, Livakovic, a defender like Gavardiol, Perisic and Modric. From Morocco, I would probably say Bono, Hakimi. I would say Ziyech and also Boufal. I think those are the ones that stand out to me. And if you want a striker, I'd probably lean towards the Croatians, and more so than not, maybe Kramaric. But he might not have been playing up front here, if I'm not mistaken. I want to see the lineups officially first. Can you transfer players after he played? No. So if you transfer out a Croatian or Moroccan after they've played, you won't be able to bring in an Argentine or French player tomorrow. So that's why you want to get rid of the did not play players, the ones that are already eliminated, because they're going to be unlocked basically. Or yeah, you can always transfer them out whenever you want. I'd go for Alvarez, like I said before. Can you transfer out after using power captain? Yes, you can play the power captain, then make transfers. Of course you can. Is Pasalic starting? I don't think he is. Sosa won't play. Perisic is playing left back. Orsic left wing. Yes, that doesn't look too good in terms of Perisic. That definitely would put me off captaining him, I think. But you just never know. Di Maria or not? We don't know if he's starting. It's a 50-50 chance right now between him and Lissandra. Bono or Livakovic? I need to see the Morocco lineup first before I can give you a final answer. But I was leaning towards Livakovic. Yeah, lineups are out. Thank you. Hopefully, we do get the official lineup because I want to actually go through it. Lovren has good goal scoring record. Yeah, I mean, he's a threat from set pieces, but, you know, at the same time, Morocco also very solid defensively. And how many corners have they conceded in this tournament? So, yeah, well, let's wait and see. 3 Argentina defenders or 2 Argentines and 1 Croatia. I'd go for 2 Argentines and 1 Croatia, but at the same time, if you want to gain rank and be different, maybe 3 Argentines is the way forward. Yeah, no Sosa. I'm not too surprised by that, to be honest. Should I take any hits? I would try to avoid that, to be honest, if possible. After this match, Morocco versus Croatia, we've answered this many times, Paolo. So the final deadline, so the way it works always is that you can transfer out players whenever you want before a game. And if you want to get players for a certain match day, so in this case, Argentine or French players, the player you have to get rid of has to be unlocked. So they have to be players that are already eliminated or Argentines or French players themselves. If you get rid of a Croatian or Moroccan that's already locked in, then you won't be able to make that transfer and carry it through for this match day. So, yeah, basically you can't do that. Captain Kramaric or Hakimi or Ziyech? My gut feeling says Kramaric, but honestly, it could be any single one of them. And I actually favour Hakimi over Ziyech, if anything. I just don't know how that game's going to go, to be quite frank. Yeah, we'll go through the Croatia lineup. We did, read it over by Mario's comment, but I want to get a good visual on it. Morocco's lineup, I mean, it should come out very soon. We're going to try and go through it once again. Live scores still haven't updated this, so I think we're still waiting on the Moroccan lineup there, unfortunately. But we've already got the Croatia one, it seems. Let's see if SofaScore can give us something here. No, once again, it's just possible lineups, and they don't even have everything covered. But yeah, we'll wait for the Croatian one, or should I say the Moroccan one. I'll keep this on screen, but just to let you know, Juranovic and Borna Sosa are not starting, so this is not accurate. There's quite a few changes there for Croatia. Buffal or Modric? I would go for Modric personally, but Buffal's a good option too. Best French midfielder, I would say Tchouameni or Rabiot. It's between those two. It's hard to call. I don't think there's much to split them, and it could go either way, really. Let's see if Croatia put it on their website. That would be very, very helpful on the Twitter page. Yeah, we've got the lineup here for Croatia. So let's bring this up on screen. Okay, so yeah, Livakovic, Stanisic, Perisic, Majer, Kovacic, Kramaric, Modric, Livaja, Orsic, Gavardiol, and Sutalo. In terms of the bench, yeah, Juranovic is in there, but it doesn't mean he's going to be available to come off the bench because he was suffering with an injury problem, and Brozovic is another one who's also on the bench as a result. But there are a few changes there for Croatia. Yeah, let's wait and see. So in terms of fullbacks, it looks like it's going to be Perisic and Stanisic. Perisic is obviously a midfield in this game, so if you want a Croatian defender, maybe Stanisic is the way to go. Maybe Mario will give you a better answer than me, but yeah, I'll probably be looking at Gavardiol or Stanisic as my Croatian defender of choice. I'm a bit unsure about this lineup though. If Morocco go, the strongest as they can, then maybe I will go away from double up in Croatia's defence. So let's wait and see. Let's see what else we have. Rabiot, yeah, he could be the best option potentially. It's close between him and Tchouameni. I mean, generally, they don't have a great record in terms of goal scoring, but they both can definitely cause problems for Argentina. Rabiot obviously nearly scored against England. He scored and assisted against Australia. Enzo Fernandez or McAllister? It all depends on the lineup. At the moment, I would favour McAllister based on what I think Argentina will line up with, whether it's with Di Maria or Lisandro Martinez. I think McAllister will be the more offensive of the two. As a result, I would go for him. But if Paredes starts, then I would lean more towards Enzo Fernandez. It's really close. Honestly, I don't think there'll be much between them. Yeah, but he is in the lineup right now. It's possible. I'm not too sure. I mean, if he has a muscle injury, there's no point risking him. Best first game captain? I mean, I don't know the Moroccan lineup yet, mate, so it's hard for me to say. But from these players that I'm looking at, because Perisic, it looks like he's going to be playing as a left back, I probably would lean more towards a striker. So mainly I'm looking at Kramaric, and for Morocco, I'm looking at potentially Ziyech or Hakimi. It's a really close call. I think a defender or goalkeeper could be the highest scoring player in this game. Will Acuna start? I believe so. I think he will start. Kramaric doesn't play full 90 minutes, that's the problem. Yes, and he also doesn't have a great record overall for Croatia, or he's not the most reliable goal scorer, and he could be out on the wing here. I think Orsic could be a really good pun. He's someone that's really impressed me in the Europa League and Champions League over the last few years. Orsic or Molina? Different players, but I'd go for Molina, I think. Yeah, it looks like Perisic is playing as a fullback. Is a good idea to replace him, but then who do you replace him with? Maybe another Argentine or French midfielder, but I'm not too sure if I'd replace him, to be honest. I'd still keep him. He's still got the possibilities of scoring from that position, as he has done many times for Inter Milan and all his clubs, but yeah, I'm not too sure. I think I'd still keep him. Obviously, it's a shame to see him play as a left-back. I wanted to see him play his advanced left-wing position, but it looks like Orsic will be playing there instead. So hopefully we get the Moroccan lineup, because we're still waiting, and normally we have it by now. No, there's no point doing that, mate, because you should buy a Argentine or French goalkeeper, because you can play Bono now, and then you can buy, or have an Argentine or French goalkeeper for tomorrow, so you can maximize your possibilities of points. If you want to get Livakovic in for Bono, that's completely up to you, but I wouldn't do it for a hit, for sure. Who'd you bring in Juranovic for? Probably, like I said, Gavardiol or Stanisic, I think, from Croatia, if you want a Croatian defender. Giroud or Alvarez? I'd go for Alvarez, personally. Yeah, like, this is the thing, though, and also we don't have too many midfielders to choose from. It's kind of slim pickings. If Di Maria doesn't start, then it's kind of anyone's game, really, in terms of a midfielder scoring in this match day. So I'd probably just keep him. Modric, Perisic or Fernandes for Buffal? I'd still go for Perisic, to be fair. Yeah, Livakovic a decent shout. Like I said, if you're looking for a kind of differential player, he could be the one. The same goes for the other players in the forward positions, such as Kramaric and Orsic, but still, it's difficult to make a case for him. Yeah, thank you, Luke. I appreciate that. I'll see if it's on live score, because it's just been a long while. It seems like we've been waiting for this for an age, really. So let's see if we can get the Morocco lineup as well. Yeah, not yet. Yeah, we still don't have the Morocco one, so flash score. Let's see. Hopefully that is reliable and it's all confirmed. All right, so give me a second. Lineups. So apparently, according to Flash Score, the Moroccan lineup is Bono in goal, Amrabat, Atit Allah, I probably butchered that name, so apologies for that. Buffal, Dari, El Kunus, El Yamik, En-Nesyri, Hakimi, Sabiri, and Ziyech. So yeah, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is there many changes in the team? So we don't have Sace, we don't have a Gerd, and we don't have Mazzouri, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, the injured players that were risked for the semi-final, they're not playing here. Where is Mazzouri? Is he on the bench? So he might not even be available at all here, unless I'm, misunderstanding this. But yeah, in terms of like the key assets like Hakimi, Ziyech, Bono, they're all starting. Amrabat as well in terms of quality midfielder throughout this tournament. But from a fantasy point of view, I'm not too sure about him. But there you go. That is the Moroccan lineup apparently. And yeah, I think they got the Croatian one right. So yeah, hopefully that is correct. And I can show you it in a second as well, but we're still waiting. So for the time being, let's go back to my team and my transfer plans. So I am considering Stanisic. So he's got 0 points so far in this World Cup. Hasn't gotten too many minutes. And his ownership is 0.1%. So if you're looking for a differential defender, this could be the one. My concern is if he comes off before the 60th minute mark, which is possible. But then who would it be for? Because Juranovic, the main right back, isn't actually available, it looks like, or he's struggling with an injury problem. So yeah, let's just wait and see. I might go for Stanisic. If not, it will be probably Borna Sosa. So thank you for that. I appreciate it, Luke. Will you stream tomorrow? No, I always stream just for the deadline. And in this case, it's the Saturday, 17th of December, the Matchday 7 deadline with the third place playoff in mind. There will be no stream tomorrow. I always do one stream per week. I'm not going to change that now. So this is the last World Cup Fantasy stream and the last World Cup Fantasy video or any type of content until maybe 4 years' time, potentially. So yeah, I mean, it's been, the last month or so has just gone by so quickly. Hopefully it's a great end to the World Cup. And then we're back with FPL in around 9 days' time. Sutalo had a great season in Dynamo. Stanisic played only a few games for Bayern. My pick is Gavardiol or Sutalo. I appreciate that, Mario. It's always good to have a perspective of, a supporter, someone who watches them week in, week out, because I don't have that insight into Croatia like you do. So Bruno Sosa's not playing? No, he's not. So which defender for Croatia I want to take? I'd say Gavardiol, because he's guaranteed to pretty much play as many minutes as required to get the clean sheet points. And also, I'd say Stanisic if you want a differential. Top 2 Argentine defenders, I would say Molina and Acuna if they start. I've already transferred in Lovren and now he's not starting. What should I do? Yeah, that's a bit of a surprise not to see him start. What should I do? I would transfer him out. Just make sure you don't take hits no matter what, because there's not much kind of point to taking hits at this stage of the competition. Most people will have a 50-man squad if they've been playing in the last few, match days, and they'll be able to get to that without, using hits. Livaja or Kramaric? It's a tough one. I would say Kramaric, but maybe follow Murray's advice and instead go for Sotalo. That could be a really good differential. Someone that I haven't mentioned in this video or in any, actually. I wanted Ziyech and Buffal plus Perisic and Modric plus either Di Maria or Rabiot. That looks fine to me. I think those are some of the best midfielders for each of those respective teams. Top 2 French defenders. I mean, Theo Hernandez is easily first. Second place, I'd probably look towards a centre-back like Varane if he's fit. He's obviously got an illness problem. Theo Hernandez has got a knee problem. I think they'll be completely fine for the World Cup final. You don't miss an occasion like that due to an illness or a small injury problem. Maja's fine as well. I think he came on against Argentina, took some distant shots as well. He could be a decent one, but I'd probably follow Murray's advice. Go for Sotalo, go for Gavardiol. I would personally recommend Stanisic as well for a midfielder. Defender, sorry. And as for midfielders, maybe Perisic, despite the fact that he's playing as a left-back. What do you suggest I do now that Perisic is a defender today? I'd still keep him, Victor, but it's completely up to you what you do there. Best Croatia defender, I'd say Gavardiol or Stanisic. It's one of those two for me. High or third place playoff seems silly to me with all players having to return to club football. Well, they are rotating anyway. Even Morocco, I think, have made a few changes. So yeah, in terms of third place playoff, I think it is a big thing for countries like Morocco. They've never reached this stage before. But let's say, for example, it was Brazil now. They'd probably play their second team. There is rotation. Top 2 French defenders is Theo and Koundé. I think Theo is, he's definitely first. Second place is between Koundé or Varane, I'd say. 2 best Croatian defenders, once again, Gavardiol or Stanisic for me. I prefer Croatia from the lineups. It's close, though. It is really close. I think I would lean towards Croatia, but honestly, it's like 50-50, really. Mazzari is on the bench. Yeah, thank you for that. I didn't see his name there. Maybe I misread it. Best Sace replacement. If you want a Moroccan defender, I just go for Hakimi if you don't have him already. Very simple stuff, and I think he's got more attacking potential anyway. Once again, I'd go for Gavardiol or Stanisic. Juranovic, Sosa, Lovren, all benched. Yes, Juranovic has injury problems. As for Sosa and Lovren, I think they're just kind of rotated. Livaja or Kramaric, I'd go for Kramaric. I've already transferred in Lovren, and now he's not starting. Once again, I just transfer him out for a Moroccan or Croatian defender, depending on what you think is going to happen based on the lineups. There's not much more that needs to be said, really, and I've given the 2 Croatian defenders that I'd recommend. Thank you, Colin. I appreciate it. Best Croatian defender. We just went through that, mate. Top 3 Argentine defenders. Molina, Acuna, and Otamendi. I have already transferred in Juranovic earlier. Well, I mean, what should I do? Transfer him out. I mean, it's as simple as that. All I would recommend is to not take hits at this stage. I don't think it's worth it. Which Moroccan defenders is good? I want to see the lineup. Like, obviously, I read it out just now, but I want to get it up on live score and give you an answer. So this is the confirmed lineups. For those of you that aren't aware, so we went for the Croatian one, you can read it there, but let's just go for the Moroccan one more time. Bono, Ala, Yannick, Dari, Hakimi, Sabiri, Amrabat, El Kounos, Buffal, En-Nesyri, and Ziyech. So really from this team, what would I recommend from the players that I've just listed out from Morocco and Croatia? From Morocco, it's clearly Bono, Hakimi. From the midfielders, I mean, I'd probably just go for Buffal and Ziyech, really. I think that's the way I'd go with Morocco. In terms of the other defenders from Morocco, I'd probably go for the left-back there. He's been pretty impressive, I'd say. But yeah, with Yannick and Dari, maybe they're just more nailed on to play the full 90 compared to the left-back. But I think I would go for the full-backs here. Hakimi's the obvious standout. If you want to double up on Morocco, go for Bono and Hakimi, in my opinion. With Croatia, the ones I'd recommend are Livakovic, Stanisic, Perisic, Gavardiol, and I would probably recommend, I have a good feeling about Orsic here. I know he hasn't been that great for Croatia, or at least not to my knowledge, but he's someone that's really impressed me in the last few years when I've watched him. So if he can put in a performance here, he's someone I'd highly recommend. So those are the options I'd recommend from today. You could go all in for these Croatian and Moroccan players, but it's a third place playoff. Anything can happen. It can be high scoring. It can be complete chaos. We just don't know what's going to happen. You would expect the final to be tighter, but football is a funny game. So I'll leave this up on screen for a little bit longer, and then we will go through more of your questions and stuff. So yeah, we've been going through it already for quite some while. We've still got over 380 people watching, so I very much appreciate that. And let's keep on going. We've got around 50 likes. I think we can definitely push that up a gear. So if you haven't already, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe if you're new. Let's try to get this stream to over 200 likes. It'd be massively appreciated. And if I've already answered your question or helped you in any way, then it'd be a great way of showing support as well. But these are the lineups. I'm going to go through your questions once again, and we'll be streaming to around 3 p.m, I'd say, when the game kicks off. Double up on Croatian defense or go with only one? I mean, at the moment, I'm leaning towards double up in Croatian defense, but there's so much rotation, even in both teams, that it's kind of a difficult one to call. Honestly, it can go either way. But if you are unsure, you could always just cover with both teams, maybe one of each, but I'd go for a double up in Croatia if you can. Moroccan defender you prefer? I mean, it's Hakimi for me easily. And if you want someone else, maybe go for the left back. But honestly, I've already stated my opinion. For me, the best way to cover Morocco defensively is Bono in goal and Hakimi. Like I said, I'd probably go for the left back. Let's see what else we have. Let's try to do a quick fire since we've got so many questions in here. Bono or Livakovic? It's really close. I think I'd lean towards Livakovic. Which keeper would you play tomorrow? If I can, I would go for Martinez, but I'm going to go for Lloris in the end because I've already gone for that kind of structure and I don't want to take a hit. Yes, you can. So this is obviously, we've got this question quite a lot today. So just to make it very clear, you can make transfers tomorrow and bring in Argentina and French players. But if you bring out, the player you transfer out for this player that you won, if they are a Moroccan or Croatian player that's already played, they're going to be locked in and you're not going to be able to make the transfer. So make sure the player you're transferring out is someone who's already eliminated from the competition or an Argentine or French player that hasn't played yet. Otherwise, it's just futile. You're not going to gain anything from your transfers. I would go for Croatia, but it's really close. Morocco have been the better defence, I'd say, but they've both been generally really good. Croatia have conceded 6 goals in this tournament, Morocco 3. But obviously before the semi-finals, both of them had an incredible defensive record. Change Modric, Perisic or Tchouaméni for Boufal. I'd probably change, if I had to pick one, it'd probably be Tchouaméni, but it's really difficult to tell, really. Is it possible that Enzo and Di Maria start? Yes, of course it is that they both start. The problem is either Lisandro Martinez or Di Maria starting, and that will change the formation for Argentina. Bono, yeah, thank you ARX for putting the lineup. Juranovic not playing, I've got a free transfer. Well, yeah, you can still get rid of him, Tiger and Gunnar. You can still get rid of him. Thank you, Chad. I appreciate it. Magia or Boufal? I actually lean towards Boufal here. He's someone that's really impressed me in this tournament. My problem with Boufal is that he gets subbed off very early in most of these games. Ziyech or Perisic captain? I'd probably say Ziyech because Perisic is playing as a left back, but he has scored a lot of goals and gotten a lot of assists from that position, whether it's as a left wing back or a left back. Sosa replacement? Once again, Gavardiol or Stanisic if you want a Croatian. Hakimi or Ziyech captain? I would probably lean towards Hakimi, but it can go either way. Top 3 Argentine midfielders. If Di Maria starts, he's number 1. Second will probably be McAllister, and third, Enzo Fernandez, but it also depends on the lineup. If Paredes starts, Enzo will be a bit more advanced, and then I'd prefer him over McAllister. Otherwise, I just go for McAllister, and that's it. Not for me. I'd go for Alvarez instead of Griezmann, but it's up to you. It's completely up to you. Ziyech or Perisic captain? Ziyech for me. I'll try not to repeat questions, by the way. If Perisic is playing as a left-back, who do you recommend to play as a captain? Having Hakimi, Ziyech, Perisic and Modric. I would probably lean towards Hakimi. It really depends on how you think the game's going to go, though. Like I said, I think a defender or goalkeeper could be the highest scoring in this game, but I just couldn't tell you which side it would be. So from those players you said, it'd be either Ziyech or Hakimi, but at the same time, I might be leaning towards Croatia. It's a really difficult game to call, honestly. But Perisic as a left back, I don't want to captain. Let me be quite frank with that. If he was playing as a left winger, He'd be my captain, and that's it. No issues whatsoever. Yes, I might Karaki, but to be honest, right now my focus is on World Cup Fantasy for the remainder of the stream. FPL, I'll try to get some videos and streams out in the next few days, but there might be a little bit of a break between the final tomorrow and also the next videos and streams that you see on the channel. I wouldn't take out Perisic, so I wouldn't be a big fan of captaining him, but at the same time, I wouldn't transfer him out. Who's playing up front? I'm pretty sure it's Kramrich, but I'm going to have to reassess this once again. So let me actually just check the lineup one more time. I don't want to give you the wrong information. So yeah, according to LiveScore, it's Kramrich playing on the wings with Orsic, with Maja just in behind Levaja. So yeah, take over a pinch of salt. It's really difficult. I think they could also alternate between the game, but I think Mario, if he's still in the chat, will give you a better answer, and he'll probably just tell you straight up, who it is. But it looks like it is Levaja. I'm not too sure if that's accurate, though. So I'm actually going to confirm some transfers for someone else. Let me just get this out. All right, so yeah, let's do that. All right. So yeah, some transfers I'm making for another person's team that I know is to get rid of Noppert for Livakovic, Varane out for Hakimi, and Militao out for Stanisic. So I might go for something like that, and yeah, let's just go for it. That should all be fine. Let me just sub on these players. Ooh. Livakovic in. All right, so yeah, that should all be sorted out. All right, let's go back to your questions. I'm going to be locking in my transfers very soon, by the way. I don't want to leave it to the last minute. I don't think there's too much to really think about. Yeah, Atiet Ala is so good. Yeah, like, apart from Hakimi, he's probably the one I'd recommend. And he's the most likely to get an attack in return from the Moroccan defenders. But at the same time, I still think Bono is a better way of covering their defence. Kramrich or Maja? I'd say Kramrich. Depor, a good option. Depor is really important for Argentina, but for goals and assists, he's not going to be the one for you. Hopefully I reverse jinx it and he does something tomorrow, but typically he's not the one who gets the goals and assists. Is Hakimi a good captain? I think so. If you think Morocco will keep a clean sheet, I'd go for Hakimi captain. Very simple. My heart said Maja will be man of the match, 1 goal and 2 assists. What does your mind tell you, though? That would be the big question. Have 4 transfers already brought in Livakovic. That's good. And you can just save them for tomorrow. Just bear in mind, don't get rid of Moroccan or Croatian players tomorrow for Argentina or French players, and you're all good. Molina or Acuna tomorrow? I'd say Molina, but it just depends on the setup, really. Yeah, I'm using the power captain. Levaja's up front, Kramrich on the wing. Thank you, Mario. I appreciate it. Good to see that kind of covered up. Sosa could come on and Perisic could play up front again. Yeah, he could, but then it could also be a case of Perisic coming off like for Sosa. So it just depends, really. Yeah, I mean, UCL fantasy content is something I've been doing for the last few years. I will continue with it, but there's nothing to discuss right now. I already made a video shortly after the Champions League draw was made, and I talked about my first draft. But there's not going to be too much interest in UCL fantasy until January and February. So that's when the content will start racking up for Champions League. Bono versus Livakovic, really close. I think Livakovic he has a high ceiling. That's why I'd go for him. Livakovic and Stanic, yeah, looks good for me. Stanisic, I'm guessing that's what you're saying. Kramrich, Alvarez, 12th man. I'd go for Alvarez, but it's really close. Yeah, he hasn't played a single minute, but he's getting the opportunity now, and Juranovic is injured, so it's worth going for him, I think. He's 0.1% ownership. People are talking about differentials. This is a nice way of going for a differential player. Even by the end, when the game starts, I don't think his ownership will be more than 5%. Ziyech or Hakimi captain? Depends on what you think the score's going to be. If you think Morocco will keep a clean sheet, but maybe not score too many goals, then go for Hakimi. My gut feeling is to go for Hakimi, to be honest. I should have waited until the lineups, but part of me has switched off since England went out. Is it a waste to take a -3 to replace non-starting Croatia defenders? If you're absolutely convinced of a Croatia clean sheet, like many people were with France last week, and they took hits for defenders, then yes, I'd say it's worth a punt. But generally, I'd say don't take a hit at this stage. It's going to be really difficult to make up points. And even if you get a clean sheet from a defender, you're only going to make up 3 points from it. So, it just depends. Is the risk really worth the reward? It's up to you. I'd personally say no, but it depends on what else you have, really. If you've got plenty of Argentina French players tomorrow, and you've got some Moroccan and Croatians for today, I think that's fine. Giroud to Orsic a punt? Yeah, I think it's worth a punt, but I think I'd just keep Giroud or go to Alvarez. Once again, I go for Molina. Any idea what French defense will start? Depends on the illness and the injuries, the so-called injuries that they're reporting. In my opinion, it will be Koundé, Hernandez as the fullbacks, and Varane and either Konate or Upamecano. Apparently, Konate is the worst off, and if he is, it will be Upamecano starting for France tomorrow. Major listed as a midfielder playing as a cam. Pick him up for Perisic. I mean, look, if you're looking for differentials, that could be a good way of doing it, but I still back Perisic to potentially get something in that game, and you know he's been so good for Croatia, so it's worth the punt. I have to say, Fernando, it's a really good shout that you just made, but I'm not going to go for it myself. Modric or Kovacic? I'd go for Modric. He's on penalties as well. Thank you, Guy. The latest news saying Theo Hernandez is having a knee injury. I know. I discussed this, and I also put a comment yesterday in the team selection video. I wouldn't think too much about it. He's got a knee injury, but is he going to miss the World Cup final? No chance, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I agree, Mario. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, we don't have many options right now in terms of midfielders from all the games. So, Perisic or Ziyech as captain today? I've answered this already, mate. I'd go for Ziyech now because of Perisic playing as a left-back. 3 players you would get from Croatia. Livakovic, probably a defender like Gvardiol or Stanisic, and maybe Modric, actually. Normally it'd be Perisic, but yeah. I'm thinking to jinx on 2 Moroccan midfielders. Why is that? Are you Croatian or something? Who should I go for? If you want to jinx them, I mean, for me, the biggest threats in midfield would be Boufal and Ziyech from an attacking perspective. In general, in terms of how they play overall, Amrabat is the one to jinx, but I'd say Ziyech and Boufal are the most likely to get a goal or assist from that midfield. Hi, mate, would you favour Modric, Ziyech or Hakimi captain? Probably Hakimi, but it's really close. It's really close. Modric or Kovacic? We answered that already, Tony. I'd go for Modric. Gvardiol or Stanisic? I might go for Stanisic, just to make it very clear. Boufal or Kovacic or Modric? I'd go for either Boufal or Modric, and if I had to pick one, it'd be Modric, but it's really close. I'm going to go back to my team now, by the way, so you can see what I'm planning to do. I think I will be going for something like this for the transfers today. So we've got 6 free transfers. I'm looking to get Livakovic, Hakimi, and Stanisic. Will I make another transfer? I don't think so, actually. I'm happy with the Argentine and French players I have for tomorrow. I might do something like Giroud to Alvarez or something, but honestly, when we're looking at tomorrow's games, I was very clear about this in the team selection video. The midfielders I'm looking to get is Tchouaméni or Rabiot for France, and an Argentine midfielder like Di Maria, Enzo Fernandez or McAllister. And then the other transfer would be Giroud to Alvarez, if anything. But the transfers today, I think, is quite simple. I think the big question for me is, do I go for Livakovic or Bono? I'm going to put a poll out, actually, see what you guys think. But yeah, I think there's not too much else to discuss in terms of my transfers. It's all been clear from the team selection video. Not much has changed as well. The information was just updated for Croatia. Thank you, GG Guy. I appreciate it. We could have a look maybe, but yeah, we'll report on that as well. So, which goalkeeper will you go for? This is a big question today. Okay, Livakovic. Let's see if we can put the flags up as well. And the other one is Bono. Okay, so be sure to vote in here. It will be very interesting to see how this poll goes. I think it could be close. I've seen more and more people going for Livakovic, but let's wait and see. So be sure to vote in this poll. Who do you say is the best captain for today's game? It's probably between Hakimi and maybe a Croatian forward like Orsic, I'd say. It just depends on what side of the boat you are in terms of, you know, in terms of how you think. Yeah, live score is showing a 3-5-2 for Croatia. That would make sense with Perisic playing as a left wing back. So I don't think he's necessarily... I would prefer Perisic as a left wing back compared to a left back. So that would be maybe decent news for him, but I still prefer him playing as a left winger. Let me be completely frank about that. Yeah, we went through this as well already, Sherian. Gvardiol or Stanisic, very simple stuff. 12th man, Griezmann or Alvarez? I'd go for Alvarez. And yeah, you've already got 2 French players in the forward position, so I'd personally go for Alvarez, but depends. If you think France are going to win or score more goals, yeah, I'd just go for Griezmann, but I'm going for Alvarez there. Hey, Dylan, am I able to transfer Giroud for Alvarez tomorrow? Yes, you can. That's not an issue. Bono in goal, Hakimi and Gvardiol in defence. Yeah, that looks good. Surprising, Livakovic is winning by quite a landslide at the moment. 61% of votes going to him. Livakovic plus Martinez, but I think both Martinez and Lloris will concede. Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm going for triple Morocco defence and Livakovic to cover Croatia. Fair enough. I don't think that's too bad, actually. Let's wait and see how the game goes. It should be really exciting. Thank you, C4. Get Buffal for Perisic? Not for me. As much as I like Buffal, I'm keeping Perisic. Buffal's got no goal contributions in this tournament. Perisic has, like, what, three or four? Who do you prefer ideally, Tchouaméni or Buffal? I think I'm going to go for Tchouaméni, so that will be my answer. I've got Gvardiol, Perisic, Modric, Ziyech. Do you think that's good for today? I think it's good. You're covering most of the best options. You could consider Hakimi, though. I think he's the big one that you're missing. What do you think about taking Livakovic as a 12th man? I wouldn't use the 12th man on a goalkeeper, unless you're completely convinced about a clean sheet there. I wouldn't do that. Captain for Croatia, Modric, Perisic or Maja? I'd still probably go for Perisic, oddly enough. Sell Perisic for Buffal? No. Thank you, Sebastian. No Hakimi. He is starting, and I'm going to go for him. You can see him. Let's see if I've got the right screen up. Yeah, you can see him here on my bench. I'm probably going to transfer him in. We've got 51 minutes until the kickoff, until the Matchday 7 deadline officially ends. Remember, you can still make transfers tomorrow once you see the Argentina and France lineups, but you cannot get rid of Moroccan and Croatian players who have played for a French or Argentine player. That's all you need to know. Apart from that, you can transfer out anyone else of your choosing and of your choice, and that will be very simple. But just make sure you're aware of that, and you will be good to go. Yeah, Paolo, we already discussed this. I wouldn't look too much into it. I think Theo Hernandez will be fine. I'm going for Maja punt. Yeah, that's completely fine. It's good to go a bit different, and in my case, I'm probably going for Stanisic. Which two out of Enzo, McAllister and Buffal? Probably Buffal and McAllister, but it's really close. Why is he a good option? Because it's really difficult to call this game, and it could be low scoring. Obviously, you could then look at the reverse and say, well, it's a third place playoff. Both teams will play a bit differently. I'd say both attacks aren't great. You know, both have great defenses, good midfields as well, great goalkeepers, but their attacks are a bit lacking. And Hakimi has the attacking threat, and I don't know. I just have a feeling about Hakimi. If Morocco end up winning the game, I think Hakimi will be one of the highest scoring players. Obviously, let's wait and see. I'm probably going to favour Croatia a little bit more in this game. And I think a big reason as well is because Perisic is playing in a different position this time. He's not playing as a left wing as he typically does for Croatia. Buffal not that good for fantasy. No, I agree. He's not great, but he's a differential. He's a really good dribbler. He's playing as a left winger. He's got a chance of returns, but of course he hasn't shown it so far in this tournament. The same goes for Modric as well. Hey Dylan, is it worth taking a punt on Enesiri or Livaja? Kramaric for Giroud? Yeah, it's worth a punt. Of course it is, Cylindra. But like I said, both attacks are a bit lackluster. And should I keep or sell Perisic? I'd keep him. If Theo is fit, Noppert, Shaw, Saka, Rabiot, Enzo and Griezmann to Bono, Stanisic, Maja, Di Maria, Ziyech and Alvarez, yeah, that's fine. And Theo will be fit, Mark. I have no doubts about that. I think France, like I said, are playing a bit of mind games there. I wouldn't look too much into it. Which two out of McAllister, Buffal, Enzo? We covered that. We can't sell the player that played today? Yes. You know, it's kind of like... It's been the case throughout the whole tournament. So think about the quarterfinals, for example. So England-France was the last game, right? So just before that, we had Portugal-Morocco. If you had Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes, and they've already played, you know, if you transfer them out for a French or English player on that day, you would then get those players for the next match day, not the current one. So I don't see any reason why that would change now. So no, you can't get rid of someone or sell a Moroccan or Croatian player that's already played and get in an Argentine or French player because, you know, they'll be locked basically. G for Gvardiol is silent. T for Tchouaméni 2. Thank you, Miguel. I'll probably forget that, to be honest. There's too many names and stuff, but I'll try to remember. Perisic to Maja or Giroud to Alvarez? Giroud to Alvarez, I'd say, but it's close. Hakimi, Ziyech or Perisic as a captain? Before today, I said Perisic, but playing as a left wing back, I'm a bit unsure. You know, I'm just going to stick with my Perisic prediction, but I'm not a big fan of him playing as a left wing back, to be honest. Who do I captain? It's a good question. I mean, from tomorrow, it's between Messi and Mbappe. If you want to go a bit different, maybe consider Alvarez or something like that. From today's games, I'd probably go for Perisic or Hakimi, depending on what you think is going to happen in the game. I like Orsic as a player. Haven't seen enough from him for Croatia, but he's a decent choice. Yet Stanisic I might go for. He's starting over Juranovic. Best pick from Morocco's defence. I mean, apart from the goalkeeper, I would say Atiet Allah. I think that's his name. The left back is very impressive. I'd say him. Do we get two captains this match day? Yes. One for today, one for tomorrow. But obviously, once you change the captain, you will not. You'll lose the points of your original captain. Yeah, I think that's possible. I mean, Perisic playing as a left wing back makes sense. I think the wing backs could be actually quite interesting, Stanisic and Perisic. I'd say Stanisic or Gavardiol or Vardiol, yeah, however you pronounce it. Any striker bar Messi and Mbappe. Alvarez, I'd say, but if you want a differential, a pure one, maybe someone from today like Kramaric or Orsic could be the one. Then I've gone mad and gone for 8 Croatian players. Good luck, mate. You know, it could be a difference maker for you, for both good and bad. So let's wait and see how it goes. I mean, you can see in the poll what most people think. I am leaning towards Livakovic because of the saves potential, and also because Morocco, you know, they generally score a goal, but they lack that cutting edge. Against France, they really should have scored a goal or two. Against Portugal, they should have scored a second. And I think that has cost them at times. Vardiol or Stanisic? I'm going for Stanisic. Which Croatian defender is best? I personally go for Stanisic, but it's completely up to you. Interesting fact, Croatia never conceded a goal from African teams. Yeah, that's true. But then again, in this World Cup, no African team ever beat Brazil until Cameroon did it. So much has happened in this World Cup that you just never know. Yeah, but that's a good fact. I appreciate that. I wasn't aware of it. And, you know, maybe that'll be another plus or a tick for Croatia there. It's not my final team. I'm going to make more transfers tomorrow. It's all covered in the team selection video. It depends on the lineups for tomorrow. There's no point me making my 6 transfers when I can just see what happens tomorrow, see the lineups, and then make my final decision. Yes, you can, Ayan. Just make sure that the players you're bringing out tomorrow aren't Croatian or Moroccan, otherwise you won't be able to make the transfers that you want. As far as I'm aware, if the game is consistent with how it's been throughout the whole time, you know, nothing's going to change there. I say my power captain for today. Yeah, so have I. I think that's fine. Can I activate 12th man and choose the player tomorrow? No, you have to activate the 12th man now. And once you activate it and confirm it, you aren't able to change your captain, or should I say your 12th man. So, yeah, you have to do it now. Perisic or Magia? Perisic. Or should I add players from Argentina, France? I'd just go for Perisic. I'd go for Modric there, to be honest. Stanisic will play 60 minutes. That's the hope. There is a chance he doesn't. He might play 50 minutes or something, but let's wait and see. Yeah, this World Cup is so unpredictable. Exactly. Exactly that. Who do you prefer, Di Maria and Enzo, Di Maria and Tchouaméni, or Enzo and Tchouaméni? Probably Di Maria and Tchouaméni, or Tchouaméni, should I say. Yeah, probably that, I'd say. If Croatia plays a 3-5-2, who would be the right wing back? It'd still be Stanisic. Theo and Tchouaméni out? No, I think they're fine. I think it's just all mind games from France. They didn't train yesterday. They'll probably train today. It won't be an issue. Oh, I mean, to be honest, I'd rather have the winner settled beforehand, but honestly, no matter how it happens, as long as Argentina win, that's all I can really ask for. But let's wait and see. It's going to be a really good game tomorrow. What do you recommend in defense, defenders and goalkeepers? I would go for, I mean, very simple stuff with the goalkeepers. Go for one from the third place playoff, one from the final. Ideally, you could say go for Livakovic and Martinez. In terms of defenders, I would go for Stanisic, Hakimi, Molina, Theo Hernandez, and then depending on what you think is going to happen for your final defender, maybe go for Guardiol, maybe. I'm not too sure. I think that's a good defense for you. Is it that I still can't transfer him out tomorrow, even if he doesn't play today? That's a good question, Wei Seng. So I'm not completely sure about this, but either way, I think in his case, if he doesn't play today at all, I don't think he'll be locked as far as I'm aware, but I could be wrong about that. So let me know in the chat if I'm right about that, or if he's still going to be locked because his team has already played. But that's a good question. Either way, maybe just in case, just make the transfer now. But yeah, Rabiot, DePaul, Rabiot, Boufal, Majer, probably Boufal. Yeah, exactly. If he was a midfielder, he's in my team. There's no doubt about it. Stanisic or Hakimi? I'd still say Hakimi, I'd say, but both are good. Yeah, I'm not sure why I'm getting questions about Hakimi being on my bench. I haven't made my transfers yet, so that's why I can't, you know, there's no point, you know, talking about that. I will obviously bring him in. McAllister, Fernandez, McAllister, depending on the lineup, but at the moment I'd say him. Should I risk Di Maria starting and transfer out the poor Enzo? Josh, just wait for the lineup tomorrow, then you can make the transfer. If Di Maria starts, make the transfer. Otherwise, just keep what you have. Lloris or Dibu? I'd go for Dibu Martinez. Borna Sosa, he's not starting. Most Croatia, well, I'm guessing that's the best Croatia player to go for. Apart from Perisic, I'd say Stanisic is up there. Best captain today? Either Perisic or Hakimi, depending on what you think is going to happen in the game. The best midfield for Croatia? Perisic and Modric. I have Molina. Should I sell him for Acuna or should I keep him? I'd keep him. Livaja or Kramaric? I've been saying Kramaric all day, so I'm going to stick with him, but Livaja is the one playing up front. You prefer defender or an attacker player from Croatia? Defender. That's what I'm doing right now. Thank you, S&M. So, yeah, Wei-Sing, apparently the player will be locked because he's already played a game. So, thank you for that, S&M. I haven't experienced that myself, so I do appreciate that confirmation. I hope it's right. I believe it is. So, yeah, with Juranovic, I just get rid of him now. If Stanisic is playing wing-back, who are the back three? That's a good question. So, let me go to the lineup again. Let me see if I've got it here. So, the back three, let's see if it's changed here. That's interesting. On live score, it still says 4-2-3-1. But if it were back three, that is a good question because, I mean, it would be Stanisic, you would say. When I'm looking at this team, actually, I don't see a back five because, I mean, would they play Kramaric as a right wing back? No. Kramaric only plays on the wing or up front. Orsic, same thing. Matchday is playing as an attacking midfielder. Kovacic and Modric, deep-lying midfielders. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it's a 4-2-3-1. I think that's how Croatia are going about it. Or a 4-3-3 with Matchday having a more of a free role. Yeah, back five, I'm not too sure. When I look at this lineup, it doesn't really make sense. I don't see Livaja or Kramaric playing as a right wing back. So, yeah, honestly, I don't see it. I think Stanisic is just a traditional right back and Perisic left back, but I could be wrong. Ideal captain for this game. Once again, probably for me, between Perisic or Hakimi. Just depends on your prediction. Top four midfielders for tomorrow's game. Di Maria if he starts. McAllister, Rabiot, and Tchouameni. Do you prefer a defender or an attacker player from Croatia? Defender. No, Juranovic will get locked. It happened with Di Maria for me. Thank you very much, Shreyan. So yeah, once again, we're saying just get rid of Juranovic now before the game starts. Best Croatian defender, I would say Stanisic or Vardiol. To be clear, this is a pretty offensive Croatian lineup. I expect goals. Yeah, thank you, Mario. Yeah, I think it looks like a back four here. Not for me. I just keep Perisic, Ishan. Your team for today, all the players. My team for today, well, what you see on screen is what I'm going to go for. So, actually, I didn't even change my screen. What an idiot. So, this is the lineups once again. I was just checking it on Google on live score, but we'll go back now to my team. I think I'm going to confirm my transfers now. My big dilemma really is Stanisic. Will he play 60 minutes, which is what's required to get the clean sheet point? That's the big risk. But yeah, I might just go for him as a differential, take a punt, why not, and go for Livakovic and Hakimi. So yeah, I think these are the transfers I'm going to make, and I'm going to bring them into my team. And yeah, Livakovic is winning by a landslide, by the way, 64% of votes. Best midfield of Croatia, Perisic and Modric for me still. Orsic right wing back. Are you sure about that though? I just don't see it. And I'm pretty sure Orsic will be playing as the left winger, if anything. Let's wait and see. I'd go for Alvarez over Giroud. Stanisic or Vardiol. I'm going for Stanisic, I think, but it's close. Stanisic or Varane if you have Livakovic, Hakimi, Molina, Otamendi, and I'm guessing that's... you said Otamendi twice. I'm not sure who the other one is, but I would go for Stanisic. Molina and Acuna both will start tomorrow. It looks like they will. Don't hold me to that. You never know what can happen, but I believe that will be the case. Yeah, I'm going to confirm these transfers, by the way. Yeah, they're done. Stanisic is in, and I'm going to bring him in for Saka for now, and I'm going to bring in Hakimi in for Giroud. Yeah, something like that. If not, it could be like this. Doesn't really matter. Just make sure, by the way, this is quite a lot of people throughout the World Cup fantasy. Make sure you order your bench in such a way that you're not making constant substitutions, because you have a limit of 4 subs. So once you make a goalkeeper substitution and your 3 outfield players, you're not able to make any more substitutions. So don't fall into that trap and just make sure everything is organized. So right now, I've got, let me just bring in Livakovic before I forget. I've got Lloris and Hernandez on my bench, and I've also got Paqueta and Saka, who I'll probably transfer out for Argentina and French players tomorrow. Di Maria if he starts. If not, I'll probably look at McAllister or Enzo Fernandez, and Tchouameni or Rabiot for France. I think that's how I'm going to set up here for the World Cup Matchday 7. And the other transfer, my final one, could be Giroud to Alvarez or something along those lines, really. So should be really interesting stuff. More midfielders for this game or tomorrow's game? Good question. I mean, I'm going for 3 midfielders today. So I'd say more for today and maybe just 2 for tomorrow. But you could always go for a double up in Argentina. I don't think that's bad. Maybe Di Maria and McAllister could be the way forward. Will Onana play? It looks like he's on the bench, so I think he'll get minutes, but I'm not sure if it'll be enough to get something. 12th man, Giroud, Alvarez or Kramaric? I'd go for Alvarez or Kramaric, mate. Best Croatian defender, Stanisic for me. Livakovic and Ala or Bono and Stanisic? Probably Livakovic and Ala. Griezmann or Alvarez? I'd go for Alvarez. Orsic or Kramaric? I prefer Orsic as a player, but I've been saying Kramaric all day long, so I think I'm just going to stick with him. Yeah, I did refresh the page, but it still showed Croatia playing a back four. Honestly, I have no idea how it's going to go. Yes, it's 4-2-3-1, says Mario. Let's wait and see. SofaScore has Orsic playing as a right wing back. To be fair, though, SofaScore and some of these pages do get it wrong sometimes. That's what I would say. Stanisic or Guardiol? I'm going for Stanisic. It's up to you. The only concern is Stanisic playing 60 minutes. If he does, he could be subbed off around 60-70 and then maybe lock in a potential clean sheet. That's what I'm hoping for. Upamecano out for Guardiol. Yeah, I like that. And Upamecano might not start tomorrow. Buffal or Di Maria? Di Maria if he starts for me, but he might not. Should I change... who's that? Moons to Stanisic. Is that Kunde or... I'm not sure who that is, but I think Stanisic is a good option, yeah. Who are you bringing tomorrow? Like I covered already, midfielders. So either Di Maria or McAllister or Enzo Fernandez for one spot, and for the other, it'll be Rabiot or Tchouameni. Very simple stuff. It's all covered in the team selection. I want to see the lineup tomorrow first. Yes, Anis, he will be locked. Do you remember when FPL site literally crashed in the last minute? Yes. It's happened a lot of times, not just this year. I think with this website, it's only happened once, if it ever has happened. So in that, it has gotten things right, but... yeah, try to lock in your team as soon as possible, really. We've already had plenty of time to think about the lineups, around 40 minutes. 12th man, yeah, you asked this question already, Pedro. I'm going to say the same thing. I'd go for Alvarez or Kramaric. I'd go for Alvarez, personally. I'd go for Dibu Martinez, Orsic, or Kramaric, or Livaja. Livaja's playing up front, but I'm going to go for Kramaric, I'd say. Top three French midfielders, Tchouameni, Rabiot, then probably... I mean, Griezmann's the other, midfielder there, technically. So maybe Coman, if he's fit and comes off the bench, he could be an instant sub, an impact sub there. Why do you see 4-2-3-1 in live score? But Mario, who follows Croatia all the time, he believes it's a 4-2-3-1. I just don't see Orsic playing as a right wing back, personally. What about Kovacic? Yeah, he's decent, but I just prefer Modric on penalties with key passes as well. And I also prefer Perisic with the attacking potential. If you want to go for him, go for it. Is Stanisic a good transfer? I think so. I like Amrabat for tackles, and he's been great in this tournament, but for goals and assists, not really. Yeah, I know. I've said this already. It's a risk. I'm going to go for it. He's 0.1% ownership, and my hope is he plays 60 minutes, and then he can lock in the clean sheet. Also, captaining Buffal or Ziyech. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'd probably go for Ziyech. Ziyech or Perisic? I prefer Perisic normally, but he is playing as a left-back. I'm still going to stick with him, though, I think. It's close. Enzo or McAllister? Really close again. You could go for either one. I'm looking at the lineup first before deciding, but my gut feeling is McAllister. They're both good. Safari says Croatia play 3-5-2. Yeah, I am aware of that, but once again, I'm just not too sure if it's actually accurate. Stanisic in for Varane or Otamendi? I would get him in for Varane. En-Nesyri over Giroud? I don't mind that too much, but at the same time, Morocco do lack that cutting edge up front, which does worry me a little bit. Change Varane for Molina or Lloris for Martinez? Varane for Molina looks better, I think. Yes, I am, Fernando. Croatia play 3-5-2 with Stanisic, Sutalo and Guardiol. I mean, I'm not too sure how they're going to line up. We'll find out when the kickoff starts, really. It's either that or a 4-2-3-1. Me and Mario think it's a 4-2-3-1. Let's wait and see. I bought Sosa yesterday. Should I switch to Stanisic? Yeah, I would. Or you could just go for Guardiol if you're worried about minutes for Stanisic. I would go for Livaja because he's playing up front, but I do like Orsic a lot. Can you sub off locked players? No. Locked players, no. So if you get rid of Modric, who plays now, and you after the game you get rid of him for Di Maria, you're not going to get Di Maria for Matchday 7. So, what Argentina midfield do you expect tomorrow? It just depends on the formation. So if Argentina go for Di Maria instead of Lisandro Martinez, they'll go for a 4-4-2. It'll be Di Maria, McAllister, Enzo Fernandez, and De Paul. If not, and they go for Lisandro Martinez, it will be McAllister, Fernandez, and De Paul. I don't think Paredes will start, but he has a chance, of course. You know, the way they played against Croatia with a midfield four, you know, that could work as well. But I think it'll be those three for sure starting, and then it's either Di Maria starting in the midfield as well, or he'll be on the bench. Alvarez or Giroud? We've gotten this question so many times. This will be the last time. I'm going to go for Alvarez personally. Anyone putting Kramaric in? I might take a punt, I'll be fair. Raccoon, I might do that. I might just keep Giroud though, in the end. Orsic in for Griezmann. Yeah, I do like that punt. Griezmann obviously runs the show, but from a fantasy perspective, generally, in this tournament, he hasn't gotten the goals or assists, but, I mean, it's a tough one. I think Griezmann is more of an assister at this stage, you know, playing as a midfielder. He's an all-rounder, but he's still got the attacking threat. And if he takes more shots, he always has a chance of scoring, but I think it's worth getting Orsic, yeah. Magia or Kovacic? I'd go for Magia. For 12th man, Alvarez or Griezmann? Alvarez. Hakimi, Ziyech, Magia, Modric, Buffon. Who'd you captain, Dylan? From those, probably Hakimi. Hakimi or Ziyech there. If he had Perisic, I might lean towards him, but it's a close call. Substituting players around before the game starts doesn't count towards the max 4 subs, right? Yeah, so any substitutions you make now doesn't count towards 4 substitutions, but once the deadline passes, so in this case in 30 minutes time, any substitution you make will count towards the 4 subs. I'd go for Perisic still, pro gamer. I don't know, I think it's just because Buffon's playing as a left winger, he's also really good on the eye, and I think once Morocco took him off, I just had no confidence in them scoring against France. Striker from tonight's game, I would say Kramaric or Livaja. Alvarez or Giroud, we went through that a lot of times. Alvarez is my call. Yeah, Fernando, hopefully we can get the job done. It would be great. Also, a great story for Messi and football, but let's wait and see. It's going to be tough. I've been unable to select the 12th man, getting an error. Try refresh the page or use another app, or basically if you're on the web browser, use the app and vice versa. What was your captain for today? I'm using Power Captain, so it's not really an issue for me. I would have gone for Perisic captain and then Messi, but with Perisic being as a left back or left wing back, it is a bit less appealing. Do we need to activate Power Captain today? Yes. Any chip you have, activate it now. Do not wait until the deadline passes, otherwise you won't be able to. Thank you very much, Without Malice. I appreciate it. Is it true that Fernandez is out for tomorrow's game? I'm not sure where you heard that. He should be fine. Argentina only have one doubt, I believe, which is Gomez. Unless something's come up now, which I'm not aware of, I can check that, but I'm pretty sure Fernandez is fine. Lovren isn't starting. Best midfielder in place of Ziyech? I just keep Ziyech, but if you really want to get rid of him, maybe you can consider Perisic or Modric. Hi Dylan, El Kunos on debut might be a good punt. I don't know enough about him to really talk about him, so I'm just gonna go for what I know, and I'm not gonna go for El Kunos, but why not? You never know what can happen. Like I said, Raj, Lovren isn't playing. Why would you have Ziyech and have Croatia defense and goalkeeper? I've already got Ziyech, and also you can cover both scenarios, and I've also got Lloris, Hernandez, and I will have 2 more substitutions to make tomorrow. Not everyone is going to get points, let's make that clear. I'm just trying to cover all bases and go for what I think are the best possible fantasy assets, and I'm very conflicted about this game. Yes, it looks like Perisic is playing as a left back. I'm Croatia and Argentina all in. That'd be great. I wouldn't mind that at all. I don't have any preference in terms of Croatia and Morocco winning, but yeah, hopefully they all do well for you tomorrow. And today. Orsic or Kramaric for Giroud? I prefer Kramaric just because I think he's a bit more proven on the international stage than Orsic. Yeah, Majia's an option, but I still prefer Perisic. Rabiot or Enzo Fernandez? I would go for Rabiot, but it's close. I think Enzo Fernandez will play as a defensive midfielder. I may Magia or Buffon? I'd probably go for Buffon, but it's really close. And honestly, both of them haven't done much in terms of goals and assists in this tournament. But I think Buffon's a bit more likely. Modric or Perisic captain? Perisic still for me. If Argentina win, is Messi the real GOAT? I mean, for me, in terms of players I've seen, he's the best ever, no matter what happens tomorrow. I think it does close a lot of debates if he does lift the trophy, but really it's an individual sport. For me, he's the best I've seen, but there's so many I haven't seen in the past, like Pele, Di Stefano, and many others, so it's hard to judge, but from what I've seen, he is the best. Is this your team? Yes, but I'm going to make 3 transfers tomorrow, potentially. I've discussed this already in my team selection and today. Can you still use your free transfers once the game starts? You can make transfers, but not for Moroccan or Croatian players. You can't bring them in, and you can't bring them out for Argentine or French players. So just make sure you're aware of that. Who's your captain? It's power captain, so my captain will be the highest scoring player in my 11. Defender from Argentina except Molina and Otamendi, Acuna. Any idea if Fernandes starts tomorrow? I think he will. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't, to be honest. Thank you very much, Kritan. I appreciate it. Can we use the captaincy on the 12th man? No. We've discussed this before. The 12th man cannot be captained, substituted out, or transferred out. 352 says Anis, maybe. Who to transfer out for Juranovic? I would say Stanisic or Vardiol if you want a Croatian defender. Maggio or Enzo? I'd go for Enzo, but Maggio is playing, it looks like, as an attacking midfielder, so maybe you're going to like that a bit more. Any idea if Di Maria starts tomorrow? We discussed this at the beginning of the stream as well. He could start. It's going to be between him and Lisandro Martinez. It'll be a 4-4-2 or a 3-5-2, depending on if Di Maria starts or not. It's not confirmed. Are you going to sell Giroud for Alvarez before tomorrow's game? Maybe. I can't tell you that for sure. I might just keep him just in the hopes of jinxing him. Honestly, I just have no idea. At the moment, I think I'm going to keep him, but let's wait and see. Foxy, we literally answered that question already. I'd go for Acuna. Best differential players, I would say Kramaric, Orsic, Livaja, any one of them. I mean, I wouldn't go for two, but one of those three is fine. Maja is decent as well. Stanisic, I think, is a really good differential player. And from Morocco, I would say Atit Ala, I think is the name. I would go for him, the left back. And maybe Boufal could be another decent one. I would go for Kramaric, Cilindra. It's a close call. Thank you, Gian. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the kind words. Who to get instead of Juranovic? If you want a Croatian defender, I'd go for Stanisic personally. Is it possible to transfer out players who are out of the competition? Yes, you can. I did it last week. It's confirmed. People have done it, all time long. Since the knockout stages have begun. You can do that. Just make sure you don't get rid of Croatian and Moroccan players tomorrow, and you're all good. Do we get any transfers after the deadline ends? No. The 6 free transfers you have now is what you have until the end of the day. Or the end of the day, until the end of tomorrow. Kunde or Stanisic? I already have Livakovic and Lloris and Theo. I would go for Stanisic, personally. One midfield available. Who would you bring in if Di Maria doesn't start? Probably McAllister or Enzo Fernandez. We covered that already, Dor. Messi, Mbappe, and I would say Alvarez. But if you want someone from today, I would consider Kramaric, for example. The lineup for today's game: SofaScore, LiveScore, FlashScore, Google as well will have the lineups. The Twitter pages of Croatia. There's so many avenues where you can see it. We've covered it already. Does Gavrdiol have threat from set pieces? Yeah, I think he does. I don't think he will score, but he has threat. Of course he does. Hey Dylan, how many players should we pick for today's match? I'm going for, what? How many am I going for? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, I'm not going for that many, but 6 is still a decent amount. I'd say at least 6 if you can. And also bear in mind that you have the opportunity to sub out players that have already blanked from today's game and then bring in players that haven't played yet in the final tomorrow. So you've also got that luxury. So I would try to have at least 5 if you can. I think that's a good mix. 5 to 8 players is good. What else do we have? Di Maria or Croatian Morocco defender? If Di Maria starts, he's my preference there. I can't really tell you who to captain. In my personal opinion, it would be Perisic, but he's playing as a left back, so you might not like that. Why Stanisic? Because he's playing as a right back, potentially as a right wing back if Croatia play a back three, and he's 0.1% owned, and also Juranovic is struggling with injury problems, so even if he does come on, I don't expect him to get too many minutes. My main concern with Stanisic is, will he play 60 minutes? If he does, I'm happy with that. Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not thinking about FPL too much. I'm just thinking about the World Cup final. Hopefully get the result that we want. Then I can enjoy football and enjoy the rest of the year. In terms of FPL, I'm not really thinking about it too much yet. But I do have a video prepared. I've got everything set up. But yeah, you'll see when I'm going to record videos and do streams later, probably next week. I still have 3 transfers left and I'm only going to do like 1 more. Yeah, a lot of people are in that position. I might not even use all of my 6 transfers. That's how crazy it is. Which midfielder to bring in, Ziyech or someone else? I already have Modric and Perisic. Yeah, I'd bring in Ziyech, I think, from the players today. I've got Sace on the bench. Can I transfer him for Acuna tomorrow? No. No. Just do it now, if anything. There is a chance Acuna doesn't start, but yeah, he will be locked in, Sace, if you wait for tomorrow, and you won't be able to do the transfer. You're bringing off to bring in your new players for tomorrow. So, well, in terms of who I'm going to bring off the lowest scoring players, it's very simple. From the 6 players I have from today's game, I'll sub out the lowest scoring ones. If Livakovic doesn't keep a clean sheet, I'll bring in Lloris. I'll bring in Hernandez, probably an Argentine and French midfielder in for the lowest scoring outfield players. It's very simple, and I just have to wait. I can't answer that question right now. Perisic or Ziyech as captain, I'd go for Perisic. I think he does, but there is a chance he doesn't, Lewis. So let's wait and see. I think so too, but then again, everyone has their own opinion. It's a game of opinions. Perisic or Kramaric, I'd go for Perisic. Acuna or Otamendi for Stanisic? Not too sure. My preference would be Acuna from the free, but they're all good options. You would argue Croatia have a better chance of a clean sheet than Argentina. Captain, I've got a power captain active. I would have gone for Perisic and Messi as my captains this week. Kramaric for Messi because France is probably going to win. I mean, it's up to you. It's your opinion. I think Messi all day long. I mean, he's been the best player in this tournament. I'm going to keep him. I don't think I'd go for Kramaric. Livakovic, Hakimi, Gvardiol enough? I'd go for a little bit more than that, but it's up to you. If you're not that convinced of the fantasy options, don't force it. That would be my opinion. Best captaincy punt? I would say maybe Croatia forward today, or I would say someone like Alvarez or Di Maria tomorrow. Yeah, Di Maria is available for tomorrow. Yes, he is, but it doesn't mean he's going to start. He could come off the bench. Prediction for today's game? It's really close. I think Croatia will win, but it's literally, I'm really conflicted. It could go to penalties. It could be a high-scoring game. I could see a 1-1 or a 1-0 in Croatia's favour. Let's wait and see. It could be much more high-scoring than what I just said. It just depends on how both teams approach this game. 2 from France and 1 each from the rest. Is this defenders? If it's defenders, I'm not too sure because I think France have the worst defence of the lot and they're coming up against a really good Argentine attack. I'm not too sure. If it's defenders, I wouldn't do that. I would rather double up on another defence, personally. On Boufal, given Juranovic is out, maybe, but then Stanisic is not a bad player either. But if you have a good feeling about Boufal, why not? Best captain for today, I would go for Perisic, to be honest. Yeah, Tchouaméni will be fine. I'd keep him, to be fair. I'd go for Modric over Boufal. Kovacic or Boufal. In that case, I'd go for Boufal, but it's really close. Best midfielder, if I've already have Modric, Perisic, Ziyech, and Fernandez. Di Maria if he starts tomorrow for me. Why choose Lloris, not Martinez? I made these transfers before Matchday 6. I was more confident in a France clean sheet than Argentina because I think Croatia have a better attack than Morocco. So that's why I did it. And also jinx purposes, to be quite frank. Acuna will play? I think so. I did go with 3 defenders from Morocco. Yep, that's good. Also a triple in Croatia defence. Like I said, the only way to really differentiate yourself at this point is to go different and stack up on certain teams. Yeah, I mean, Hernandez will obviously start. I mean, I have no doubts about it. Major or Di Maria? Di Maria for me if he starts. Honestly, I don't know how to call this game. The last one was high scoring, but that's a completely different set of teams for both sides. And I think Argentina are much better defensively than they were before. I think it will be cagey. I could see a 2-1. And hopefully it's in Argentina's favour. Honestly, anything can happen in this game. I think if Argentina set up correctly, they defend well, they're compact, they can definitely cause France problems, and they could also get the job done. So let's just wait and see. Is this your final team? No, because I'm going to make transfers tomorrow as well. So Ivan says 1-0 Croatia, and Izin says 1-0 Morocco. Argentina plays better without Di Maria. I mean, you say that, but Argentina were completely dominant against Poland, and Di Maria played like 56 minutes in that game. I'm not too sure. It also depends on the opposition. And also, if you think about the Netherlands game, Argentina started absolutely dominating in extra time when Di Maria came on. So I'm not so sure if that's entirely true. Thank you very much, Ella Verse. I appreciate it. And big up Bangladesh, and hopefully you enjoy the rest of the games. Highest points potential, Giroud or Livaja? I would say Livaja, but Giroud is exceptional for France. Best captain for today, Perisic for me, but he is playing as a left-back, so you might reconsider that. Thank you, Astravidan. I appreciate it. Will Perisic and Modric play the full 90 minutes? I don't think so. I think Modric might come off for a standing ovation. Koundé for Stanisic? Yeah, I'd probably get Stanisic in, personally. Giroud or Kramaric? It's a close call, really. I think Kramaric has the highest ceiling, but Giroud is so consistent for France. I'm not sure if I'm going to get Kramaric in myself, so I guess I'd say Giroud. Fernandez or Di Maria? Di Maria if he starts. Best France differential midfielder? Not sure about the ownership, but it's really just between Tchouaméni and Rabiot. I think Tchouaméni is the bigger differential. Let me just check this. Tchouaméni has 15.8% ownership. Rabiot has a bit higher, no? Yeah, 21.6%. So it's between those two. I'd say Tchouaméni, I guess. Tackle points as well. Good score from distance. Rooting for 3-1 halftime, 4-2 full-time Argentina. Wow. I mean, that would be a great game if that was the case. Let's wait and see. Do you think Croatia care about getting third? I mean, you'd rather win it than not, but I don't think they're that motivated as they would have been in a World Cup final. Of course not. But I think they do care slightly. It's not the most important game in the world. Can I make transfers tomorrow? Yes, you can. Di Maria scored in Argentina's last 3 finals. Yeah, the last 3 finals that Di Maria started in and completed, yes. There were some finals where he came off injured or he was injured before reaching the final. But yeah, scored against Nigeria, Brazil and Italy. Would be great if you could add France to the list. Surely Varane will start, right? If he's fit, if he's, not ill, then yeah, of course he will start. And I think he will be fine. Why are you going for Stanisic over Gavardiol? Because he's playing as a right back, a bit more attacking potential, and he's a differential. I'm not going to have many differentials in my team, so why not go for something a bit different? 12-man, grief man. I'd go for Alvarez. Will Modric score today? I'm not sure. I don't think so, but maybe you get a penalty or something. Giroud or Alvarez? Alvarez, we covered this before. I want to play Alvarez, but my rivals have got Alvarez, so I want to take a gamble and play Giroud. It's up to you. Just go for the player you think will score the most points. If it's Alvarez, just go for him and maybe find a differential elsewhere. That will be my advice. I see Croatia playing with a 5 at the back on SofaScore. Yes, but I just don't really see Orsic playing as a right wing back, and I could be wrong, by the way, but let's wait and see what happens in 16 minutes. Giroud, Alvarez or Kramaric? Alvarez for me. I've got the same Croatia-Morocco players as you, hoping for the best. I believe they are the best fantasy options that they have, really, so let's wait and see. Kramaric for Alvarez. I'd probably stick with Alvarez, but Kramaric is fine. Probably has a high ceiling as well. Will players from example Brazil be locked? No. Players that are already eliminated are not locked. You can transfer them out at any time before, the final game of the match day. So that's fine. Who is the Golden Boot winner? If things stay the same, it will be Messi because he's got the assists over Mbappe. But yeah, let's just wait and see what happens tomorrow. Hopefully Messi does win it. Will players from example, yeah, just said that. 12-man, Griezmann or Alvarez covered. Kramaric or Alvarez, I'd go for Alvarez. Are you not worried that Stanisic will be subbed off for half-time? It's possible. I already said this. He could be subbed off before 60 minutes, but let's wait and see. I'm not so sure about that. I think it's really close between them and France. I think most people are rooting for Argentina because of Messi, but you've also got the Messi haters who are obviously going to go for France. So I'm not so sure. I think what Argentina have as an advantage is the fans. Apparently, there's going to be over 50,000 fans in the Lusail Stadium, which is even more than the last few games where Argentina have already got the best atmosphere of any fan base. And, to add even more to that could be special. Who's going to be the Golden Glove winner? I think it's between Livakovic, Bono, and Martinez, no? Bono didn't start in one of the games where Morocco kept a clean sheet. It's between those 3. Let's wait and see. As a French, I'm puzzled. Who do I wish for the win? My home country or my idol? I mean, look, if I was French or, if I was up against Messi, I'd still want my country to win. The thing is that some people kind of argue is that France will have more opportunities to win World Cups. This will be Messi's last chance. So, look, I still would support my country, but honestly, it's kind of weird, what Messi's transmitting because people, even Brazilians last year, wanted Messi to win over Brazil, which is something that I can't get my head around. Who's the best captain for today? Perisic for me. Perisic or Modric, I go for Perisic. Who's the best captain? We went through that. Won't transfers be locked before match day starts? Transfers are only locked for players who've already played in the match day. So Croatian or Moroccan players in 40 minutes time, they will be locked. You can't transfer them out for a French or Argentine player. It's very simple. Do you think Di Maria will play? I think he will play. Will he start? Not so sure. I think he'll either start or come off the bench. It's very simple there. Kramaric for Giroud. If you want someone with a high ceiling potentially, then yeah, but Morocco have only conceded 3 goals after all, so it's still going to be a bit difficult, I think. Thoughts of Griezmann as a differential instead of Giroud or Alvarez? I don't mind it, and like I said, Griezmann's having a great tournament, but I still prefer those 2 in terms of goals. Thank you, Ahmed. I appreciate it. Just wanted to say I enjoyed the videos for the World Cup and can't wait for the FPL content. Glad that I found you, brother. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Ahmed. It means a lot. I hope you enjoy the content and hopefully you enjoy the football. Thank you very much for the kind words. Gavardiol still a good choice for today? I think so. Thank you, The Scrambler, for liking the video, and everyone else, if you haven't already, be sure to do the same. We're trying to get this to over 200 likes, and we're also trying to get more subscribers, getting ever closer towards 20,000. Yes, you can smoke a shish. Just make sure the players you're transferring out aren't Moroccan or Croatian. That's all you need to do. Modric or Perisic? Perisic for me. Yeah, completely agree. I think those are the two best fan bases. I mean, the atmosphere that Argentina transmit in every game is unbelievable, and I think it could be a big advantage tomorrow, like it has been in the knockout games and also the group stage games as well. Can I get Di Maria now and transfer him tomorrow if he does start? Yes, you can do that. Yeah, Perisic, it looks like he's playing as a left back. Captain Modric, Hakimi or Perisic? I would probably go for Perisic, but it's anyone's game, really. I prefer Alvarez over Giroud, by the way, just for those asking. I've made that very clear throughout the video. Thank you. It's Vij, I think it is, for subscribing. Thoughts on doubling up on Morocco defence? If you think Morocco will keep a clean sheet, go for a double or even a triple up. I don't mind that too much. Yes, there will be transfers to the final, Adam. Yes, of course. In terms of, so what you mean by that, you have 6 free transfers right now. You will have those 6 free transfers for the final as well. You're not going to get added any more after this deadline, but you can use these free transfers for the final too. Maja or Modric? I would go for Modric. I have 3 transfers left. Can I use it tomorrow to get Argentina French and remove Croatian Moroccan players? No, you can't get rid of Croatian Moroccan players for Argentine or French players because they're locked. The Croatian Moroccan players will be locked. You can get rid of players of other countries, not Croatia or Morocco. When will you end the stream? Probably when the kickoff starts, really. I'm going to eat as well. Haven't had lunch yet. It's going to be a late lunch for me. How many defenders from today's game would you bring in, excluding keepers? I'd say 2 or 3 for me. I don't even mind 4, but I'd say 2 or 3 is good. Thanks for all the tips throughout the World Cup. Now leading my league. Hopefully won't choke up the last match day. Good luck. Hopefully you can secure it. And I appreciate the kind words. I would go for Perisic, but he is playing as a left back. Bear that in mind. Thank you, Jibex. Always a pleasure talking to you. Best player of the tournament? For me, it's Messi. I know he's gotten a lot of penalties, but his overall play, the assists, the dribbles, the chances he's creating, and also just think about how crucial that goal against Mexico was, because Argentina were absolutely shocking in the first half. They just lost the first game, and that goal completely gave the team a new lease of life. So I'd say it's Messi. Thank you very much, TYK, once again. Going with 2 Croatian defenders, who would you pick besides Stanisic? Gavardiol or Vardiol. I need to remember how to pronounce it. Are transfers available for tomorrow? Yes, they are. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hopefully, yes. That will be the dream. Will there be transfers tomorrow too? Yes, Adam, there will be. Es buena idea usar a Griezmann en vez de Giroud o de Mbappé. Griezmann está jugando un torneo bárbaro, pero para mí Mbappé y Giroud tienen más chance de hacer goles. Y Mbappé, es muy difícil ir a una final sin Mbappé. Casi 80% de los jugadores de este juego lo tienen, así que no, para mí yo tendría Mbappé y Giroud, o sacaría a Giroud para Álvarez, pero a Mbappé no lo voy a sacar. Livakovic or Bono? Livakovic, that's what I'm going for. It's really close. Best 3 defenders playing tonight? Hakimi, Stanisic and Gavardiol for me. I think Molina will start. Is Perisic a must-have? No, especially as he's playing as a left-back, but he's still one of my favourite left-backs, really, or favourite midfielders in the game, should I say. Messi can still play another World Cup? Yeah, he can, but I don't think he will. And also, just think about it, if he wins tomorrow, what better way to cap off your international career or your World Cup career with the World Cup trophy, something that he's been seeking for so long. He's already played 5 World Cups as well, so I'd love it, but I think this is his last World Cup. You see Morocco conceding? I think they will concede a goal, but I don't see them conceding too many, but you just never know. I'd go for Alvarez. Why didn't you get Buffal? Because I'm backing Croatia a little bit more, and also because Buffal's got no goals or assists in this tournament. Whom to captain today? I would go for Perisic, but maybe go for someone a bit different, like Kramaric, Orsic, Livaja, or maybe Ziyech, depending on what side you're kind of backing. No, I always do 1 deadline stream per week, per match day. There won't be another deadline stream or another stream. This is the stream for Matchday 7. Best defender of the tournament? I think Gavardiol's been the best centre-back. And in terms of full-backs, I think the likes of Theo Hernandez, Molina, Acuna, they've all been really good as well. Otamendi's been very underrated. But apart from that, you still got Thiago Silva, who's knocked out early, but only conceded 1 goal when he was on the pitch. I think there's a lot of defenders, but if I had to do like a back 4, probably Theo Hernandez, Gavardiol, maybe Otamendi and Hakimi. That would be my back 4, I think. The Golden Ball is between Messi and Griezmann. I disagree. I think you're right. I think those are the 2 best players, but I don't think they'll give it to Griezmann. I think they'll give it to either Messi or Mbappe. Vamos Argentina. Thank you, Nicolas. Hopefully we can do it. Best player in World Cup fantasy? I think Messi or Mbappe. Goal of the tournament? Oof. Goal of the tournament? I mean, we've got a lot of contenders. I like the Argentina goal against Poland, but taking all bias aside, I think the Brazil goal. So Richarlison against Serbia and Richarlison against South Korea. I think that might be the one. I also like the Holland goal against USA with a lot of passes involved. Yeah, it's probably Richarlison against South Korea. Messi's 35 years old and still on top of his game. Yes, exactly. But I just don't see him playing another World Cup. Yes, I can say hi. I'm not a celebrity or anything, okay, so don't worry about that. Good to see you. Gavardiol or Stanisic. Stanisic, that's what I went for, but Gavardiol is more... he's just more likely to get the clean sheet points because you just know he's going to play 60-plus minutes. Stanisic is a bit less likely. Kramaric or Giroud. Kramaric has a high ceiling, but Giroud is generally better for his country. I'm just going to stick with Giroud, I think. If anything, I'll maybe transfer him out for Alvarez tomorrow, but that's it. Gracias, Alberto. I've captained Modric and hope he gets a goal to end an outstanding international career. Yeah, it would be great. Hasn't got a goal or assist in this tournament, so it's about time. Last question, Kramaric or Livaja? I think I'd go for Kramaric. Thank you, Rock and Roll, for moderating the chat. Best player, England in this World Cup? I'd say Bellingham or Saka. Maguire had a good tournament. You've got a few others as well like that. Luke Shaw was decent. For me, it has to be Saka or Bellingham. I think those are the top two. Most shocking result of the tournament, Saudi Arabia against Argentina for me is the main one. Because Argentina were literally in a 36-game unbeaten run. They were one of the favourites going into the competition. And actually that result pushed Argentina from top two favourites all the way down to like 5th or 6th. And then people just kept on underestimating Argentina. And I think that actually, as well as shocking, it might have been one of the most important results for Argentina, especially if they go on to win tomorrow. This is the last World Cup for Ronaldo, Messi and Neymar. Well, Neymar still could play another one. But before, I think it was like last year, he said, this is probably my last one. He's kind of sick of, or he's getting a bit tired of football, something like that, he said. I still think he has another World Cup in him. And Brazil have a good chance in the next one. While doing interview, Messi was furious against one Netherlands player. What did Messi say? He said to Weghorst and that war, he basically said, go away, idiot. And look, people kind of take this out of context. Yes, Messi was rude and all of that, but there was a reason why he said it. But there's no point going into that. You know, the Argentina-Netherlands game is done. All I'm going to say is the Netherlands did provoke Argentina quite a lot throughout the match and also during the week in the build-up. Yeah, Richarlison against Serbia. Yeah, that was a really good one. 4-point family in my bank. Yeah, a lot of us have a lot of money in the bank because, you know, we don't have that much to choose from, you could say. No, the Moroccan goal is the best because he jumped the second highest ever. I disagree. I mean, it's a good goal, but it mainly came because of Diogo Costa being really badly positioned. And I think there are much better goals in this World Cup for me. En-Nesyri or Ziyech for captaincy. I'd go for Ziyech, but En-Nesyri is maybe more likely to score, you could say. Yeah, I'm doubling up on Argentina defenders with Molina and Otamendi. I don't mind that. You could even go for a triple up, but France are always dangerous. I captain Modric because this last game, the manager might give him more of a free role. Yeah, that's fine. And also with Perisic playing as a left back, it does make sense to maybe favour Modric a little bit more. How I would love that. And Di Maria is one of the top legends. If he scores tomorrow, he's literally one of the biggest legends in Argentine history for sure. And also in international football, because he would have completed the set of international trophies and also would have scored in all the finals. Di Maria or Perisic? Di Maria if he starts for me. I would go for Giroud from those two. McAllister or Enzo? McAllister. Do you see the bicycle kick from the Moroccan play against France? Yeah, that would have been a really good goal as well. Great save by Lloris too. I would go for Acuna over Otamendi if you can. Have free transfers kept back for tomorrow? I think that's fine. I'm also in a similar position. Use the power captain now. Do not wait for tomorrow. You're not going to be able to. So use the power captain now. Otherwise, you're in trouble. And yeah, there's no point just waiting anyway. Koundé or Varane? Koundé's more likely to start because Varane is ill. But I will also say Varane is more likely to score, if anything, because of his set-piece threat. But yeah, just wait for the announcement tomorrow. If you need someone now, just go for Koundé. He is going to start for sure. I haven't checked live score, but I'm guessing it's 3-5-2 now. I'm not too sure how it's going to be. We can check it very quickly. Yeah, on live score, it's still 4-2-3-1, which is what I believe will be the setup. SofaScore and a few other pages have said a 5-3-2. Let's wait and see how it ends up going. All right, so let's now go back to my team. So just to confirm, let's refresh the page as well just to make sure everything is good. So yeah, I think if I were to take another punt from today's games, it would be maybe a defender, or more importantly, a striker. But I think I'm happy with this. So Livakovic in goal, Otamendi, Molina, Stanisic, Hakimi, Perisic, Modric, Ziyech, Messi, Mbappe, Giroud, with Lloris, Hernandez, Paqueta and Saka on my bench. My plan is to potentially do Giroud to Alvarez tomorrow, and then maybe make 2 more transfers, which would be Paqueta to, let's say, Tchouameni, or you're looking at someone else like Rabiot, and then Saka to either Di Maria or Enzo Fernandez or McAllister. That's how I'm looking to go about it. I made this all clear in my team selection video. Let me just check if I've also sorted out my family's team as well. I think it's all good too. I think the team is all set. Yeah, Power Captain active as well. Just for those of you that aren't aware, I have activated my Power Captain. That is all done. And yeah, that is all that we need to cover. We've got literally just under 2 minutes left. Yeah, Gonzalo Ramos' first goal against Switzerland. It was really good, but goal of the tournament, not for me. Fernandez or DePaul? Fernandez. Can you speak Spanish? I need to learn something new. I mean, I speak Spanish when I get a Spanish question. My English is better than my Spanish, but I do speak both regularly. Morocco performed the best since they are not the best team, and it's the first time. Yeah, I'm just talking about, you know, obviously the goal was really good, the way he jumped in the series, but just my point of view, it's not goal of the tournament. Yeah, Morocco, in terms of how they performed, are definitely one of the best teams. That's why they are in the semi-final, why they reached it and they could finish third in this World Cup. Perisic or Ziyech captain? I would favour Perisic, but he is playing as left back. I prefer Alvarez over Giroud, as I've said before. No worries, Hugo. Just for anyone that isn't aware, if you have a chip remaining, activate it now. You've literally got 50 seconds left. Do not wait until the deadline passes and the Croatia-Morocco game kicks off, because otherwise you won't be able to. We all know this. The worst referee of the tournament is that Lajos guy, the Spanish one from the Argentina-Netherlands game. He was absolutely awful. Every decision was wrong for both sides. He played 10 minutes extra for no reason, really. Yeah, he's the worst one for sure. And he also made it all about himself with, 16 yellow cards in the end? Yeah, he's just absolutely awful. Can't decide between Bono and Livakovic. I went for Livakovic just because of the saves potential, but Bono has had a better defence in front of him generally. Thanks for adding an extra thing for this World Cup. I hope Argentina keep up the amazing streams, and see you soon. Thank you, Mustafa. I appreciate the support, and I hope to see you in the next streams as well. Triple Moroccan defence. Let's go. Good luck, Terence. Let's see what happens. And we're about to have the deadline close. It's now 3 o'clock, and the game has kicked off. Well, Di Maria has been injured, so he started the first 3 games. He was decent. He got an assist against Mexico, played pretty well against Poland. But yeah, he's been injured since then, so it's kind of hard to judge him. It doesn't really matter anyway, because against in the Copa America last year, he wasn't particularly great in the build-up, but in the final, he produced that one moment of magic, got the winner, and that's what I think Argentina fans will be hoping for again. Thank you, Sudindra. Good luck to you as well, and I'll see you very soon for the FPL and UCL fantasy content. Thank you, Adamia. Thanks for all the content for World Cup Fantasy. Good luck for Argentina. Thank you. I appreciate that very much, and I'll see you very soon as well. Thank you, Flanagan, as well. Sadly, last World Cup for Free Legends. Like I said, for Ronaldo, Messi, yeah, it probably is their last World Cup. But for Neymar, I still think he has another one left in it. No, I just speak English and Spanish. Unfortunately, I'm not like Wenger or Petr Cech. Yep. I think we've all got everything covered. It always seems like that. I might be forgetting something, but I think it's all good. Ronaldo or Neymar? Is this who's a better player now? Obviously, if it's now, it's Neymar. Overall, Ronaldo is a better player. Captain Gavardiol trying to secure the double and the clean sheet, hopefully. Yeah, good luck. And like I said, that's what I've been saying in the last few videos and streams. It could be a defender or a goalkeeper that ends up scoring the most. And that's why I'm happy I have my power captain, because I'm very, very mixed in terms of the captaincy. Yeah, Goldhead, I wouldn't pay attention to that. I think it's a load of BS, in my opinion. Yes, there are players that are ill. That's obviously true. But are they going to miss the final? No. All those players, at most, 1 or 2 will miss out. I think most of them will be available. Free kick goal for Messi tomorrow would be great. He was very close against the Netherlands. So hopefully he can do it this time. It's been quite a while since he scored a free kick, actually, especially for Argentina. Yeah, kickoff is done. Thank you, Nuclear Atoms. I only entered a couple of minutes to sort out my team, and this stream helped me out with quick decision making. I appreciate that, Nuclear Atoms, and I'm glad that I helped you. Did you see the Saudi player who got injured so bad? In the Argentina game, yes, I remember that. And I was obviously kind of pissed off and in shock anyway. But obviously, I wasn't wishing ill on him when it happened. What are your thoughts for the final? I'm just hoping Argentina win, mate. That's literally it. I think if Argentina set up correctly, and they are compact, they remain composed, channel their passion, and also the fans, the 50,000 that are apparently going to be in the Lusail Stadium, if they channel that in the right way, I think they have a good chance. And, you know, they can cause a lot of problems to France defensively, especially on Theo Hernandez and Mbappe's side. If France go with that kind of lineup and the way they played against Morocco, I think Argentina can get some joy. But you can never rule out France. They've got Griezmann, Mbappe, Dembele, Giroud, not to mention Tchouameni. I would expect them to be available. Same with Theo Hernandez. But defensively, I think France are vulnerable. Is Rabiot a good option? I think he's a decent one, yeah. And I captain Kramaric. Hope it goes well. Good luck, Sadindra. I wish you the best. I would have gone for Alvarez, like I've said all stream. Jurgen Klinsmann has just put Sosa in his team of the tournament. Man is high. Yeah, I mean, Jurgen Klinsmann does come out with some outlandish stuff, doesn't he? I can name a few left-backs that are better than him, honestly. Even Luke Shaw was better. I would also say Theo Hernandez is the standout. Acuna was better. Yeah, Bruno Sosa, no. If anything, Gvardiol, Livakovic for Croatia, even Juranovic, but Bruno Sosa, no. Bangladesh will be buzzing tomorrow if Argentina wins. There'll be mad noises in my area. I hope it happens. It will be great. Yeah, it will be kind of a worldwide celebration in most parts of the world, but let's wait and see. Yeah, no, I want Argentina to win because I'm Argentinian, but obviously the Messi factor makes us even more determined to win it. But yeah, like I said, if I support a country that was facing Messi in the final, I'd still want my country to win. But I do understand why some people just want Messi to do it because this is his last chance. Morocco winning, hopefully. Yeah, good luck to Morocco and good luck to Croatia. Captain Majer. Wow, I mean, that's a very interesting punt, but you've always got the options tomorrow to help you as a safety net. Thank you, Clifford. Thanks for all the tips. See you in fantasy football. Thanks. Yeah, I'll see you in FPL and UCL Fantasy. I appreciate that. Thank you to everyone else watching. And that's it. We have covered World Cup Fantasy throughout the last month or so. It's been a blast. Let's just end this poll, by the way. 64% of you went for Livakovic over Bono, and that was with almost 800 votes. Couldn't decide between Gvardiol and Stanisic, so ended up going por qué no los dos. Thanks for the stream. Fair enough, yeah. Why not both? And to be honest, I just went for Stanisic because of the ownership and also because he's playing as a right back and Croatia could just go for it, really. Nothing to lose. Have you heard about Mauritius, mate? Yeah, I have heard about it. I knew someone who was from there. Obviously, I heard it's a lovely place, great beaches and all of that. Maybe one day I'll go. But yeah, of course, I've heard of it. Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you to everyone else for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you, Ivans. Thank you very much. And good luck to all of you. I hope you enjoy the football. And I hope you enjoy what's happening today and tomorrow, the big final. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and subscribe. Wait, I just said the same thing twice. Well done. You can smash the like button as well. We're trying to get this to over 200 likes. And we're also looking to push on towards 20,000 subscribers. And like I said, generally, thank you very much for all the support throughout all the World Cup fantasy videos and, you know, the streams and stuff. Very much appreciated. We've got the FPL and UCL fantasy stuff coming along as well very shortly. Thank you, M. Gassimi. Thank you, David, as well. Gracias por todos los tipos, los tips y contenido siempre. Abrazo desde México. Gracias, David, y buena suerte para México en el próximo Mundial. Thank you, Golded, as well. One thing I'm happy about this World Cup ending is this terribly... Yeah, English punditry. I agree. Honestly, dreadful. I'm sick of hearing dictating the play about every player. Not only that, I think there's a lot of bias in the English, punditry, especially towards Argentina, in my opinion. Honestly, the English punditry in general, I'm not saying all of them, but the majority are quite poor. And, one example would have been the other day when they were talking about the penalty. That was all they talked about. And, they literally just split the entire studio in terms of was it a penalty or not. And there was much more to talk about in the game than that. Thank you, Nuclear Arms. And yeah, one more step. We've got the third place playoff right now, and we've got the final tomorrow. So thank you very much, Nuclear Arms. Thank you, Chelsea Blues 99. All the best to you as well. And to everyone else watching, I'll catch you very soon for FPL and UCL Fantasy.